I'm recording, we're all recording, and we're good to start anytime. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. This is the first ever community podcast. I'm here with Dawn, Lightning, and Dracul. And of course, I am Bulletbarry. You guys just call me Barry. I don't care. And essentially, this was the first podcast dedicated for you guys. I'd like to, before we begin, ask you guys each how you got here. Dawn, you go first. How did you end up on this podcast?
I'm a patron on Patreon. That's how I ended up on here.
So you were a pay to win.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
You could say that.
Yeah. Okay. Lightning, how did you get here?
I won the sweepstakes, I guess you could call it, on the subreddit for the competition.
The podcast contest, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And Dracul, how did you end up on this podcast?
Where to start? It all began at the PC Master Race subreddit.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy this.
Yeah, stay a while and listen. Well, yeah, I met you through the subreddit. After seeing your videos, I saw we shared a lot of opinions regarding PCs and gaming and stuff, and then you asked my opinion about creating a podcast, and then, well, I totally found the idea amazing, and I've also entered that contest, but I believe I was already in because we talked about it. We talked a lot about it. Yeah.
And if you guys think that's a little unfair, before I even mentioned the podcast to anyone or even seriously considered it, I was talking to Dracul initially about starting. I was like, what did you think? And he said he would love it. And I was just, would you want to be in the first one? And he was just like, yes, I would adore that. So that's how he got in.
Yeah, that's my very first podcast too, by the way.
Cool. Okay. This is technically my first with strangers. How does it feel to like jump into a call where you don't know anybody in here?
Well, I mean, I kind of know you because we've played games together before. We played The Division at one point.
Right.
So it's a little interesting talking to people that you haven't really ever talked to before at all.
Right. And Dawn, we played games before as well.
Yeah. The thing is, talking to random people over Skype or even TeamSpeak, it's kind of second nature to me because I do that a lot.
Right.
Normally what we do is you meet people in a game, you try to jump into a TeamSpeak if they have one, or a Skype call or whatever. And kind of second nature for me at this point.
Right. I have noticed you did that a lot. Like I jump into a call with him sometimes and he's got like another person in there with him or two or three. Actually, in my newer videos, if you guys saw, I was hanging out in a GTA 5 yacht. That was actually his. That was his yacht, and we were farting around in there. So, anyway, this is not mine. This is yours. This is your guys' podcast. So what do you guys want to talk about? Go ahead. Anyone jump in.
GTX 1080?
game.
1080?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the
You guys have
popular
been-
option seems to be the 1080 at this point.
1080.
And you know what's funny is I get questions of this all the time on my opinions on Steam or like on my Reddit. Holy God, you guys are asking me about it all the time. What do you guys think? I don't really have much of an opinion on this. What do you guys think?
Opinion on?
The 1080. I mean, you guys are obviously excited about it.
It's kind of, they've obsoleted every single, the entire lineup right now has been obsoleted by the 1080 and the 1070.
Even
So
the
that's
Titan
a-
X, the
Yeah, the Titan X is
1070,
done.
the 1070 itself is better than the Titan X.
Yeah, exactly.
According to the
Right.
benchmarks, which of course are meant to sell the cards, so they're not exactly trustworthy at this point.
I'd
but
say it's even, probably level ground with the Titan X, 1070.
at
Won't be
least-
significant. Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
It won't be significantly more powerful, but it'll be pretty much at that level. But for what, a third of the price, I don't mind.
Now, one interesting thing I just found was someone from EVGA tech support just confirmed that the 1080 cards only support up to two-way SLI, and anything above that will not work no matter the SLI bridge.
No.
You serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
They
Please say
also
no.
said, please, however, keep in mind that if you do not use the new SLI bridge along with the two 1080 cards, then it gives more performance than two-way SLI did in the previous series cards. Here's my source for that in case you want to just
Thing
stick that in
is,
Skype.
I have an idea right now. Is my GPUs currently put out so much heat, my AC can't keep up if I'm playing a game at full chat.
That's crazy.
So that's crazy. It's 390 Ti's and they put out fairly significant amounts of heat. So what I'm thinking is upgrading. I was thinking of doing liquid cooling and sort of changing my air conditioning unit entirely. But these new cards are a lot they run a lot cooler and they consume a lot less power. So I'm like, take these out, put 3 new ones in, and then sell these 3, sort of even out the cost entirely.
Yeah, that seems like a
Right.
good idea.
Because the cost of me doing liquid cooling will cost me the exact same amount of money if I just add 3 new cards and sell these 3. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. No, that does make sense, and that's what I did with when I had my 980. I had my regular 980. I just sold it, and I only spent like $300 to get the 980 Ti because of how much I spent or sold the 984, and that actually makes a lot of sense if you want to upgrade.
I'm just sitting here with my 760 saying, oh, man.
That was
Whatever.
actually my first card, the
I lived
760.
with the 760 for a long time, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been told not to upgrade my card yet because I don't need to.
Yeah,
But I'm just
don't.
I want a card. I don't
You
care.
have,
No,
to
you
be honest,
have.
you have more processing power than the fucking PS4. No joke, you do.
I won't argue with that. Definitely.
Another thing, real quick, about the only being able to support two-way SLI for those cards. The new SLI connector uses both SLI connectors on the card so that it doubles the bandwidth that is allowed.
Oh.
So that should increase performance of SLI quite a
Nice.
bit, even
That's
if it's
awesome.
just two-way.
Okay, but here's my issue. I've seen a lot of games come out, more commonly from Ubisoft. I guess Warner Brothers as well,
Yeah.
and the SLI is
Doesn't work.
significantly broken. And I'm talking like, it doesn't matter how much power you put behind these cards, it's not going to work because of how they optimized it. So, with that, what's really the point here?
It's
Yeah.
for enthusiasts. I think the card's like for enthusiasts mainly. Like the SLI thing is for enthusiasts mainly. If you're like
Right.
a normal person, I'd say go for the single most powerful card you can get. Don't go for multiple.
True. But that's
Because I have first-hand experience of like games running like dog crap on SLI, but they run brilliantly on one card.
Another thing isn't SLI mainly meant so that you can set up more monitors than a single card would allow?
No, single cards can allow up to 5 monitors, and max you can go up to 6.
yeah. I
Crap.
have 3 monitors plugged to my 970. So, and I still have. I still.
Oh
can
wait,
connect.
no. Hold on, let me check the back of my card. Yeah, I can
As
hook up to 5 monitors, one card.
With
Cool.
one card.
On the max Windows allows is up to 6. I don't think that's
Okay.
really it.
Okay.
Regarding that Ubisoft, those Ubisoft games you mentioned,
Right.
sometimes I wonder if the developers do it on purpose to make their games run bad, if you will, on PCs. So just
Well, actually, no. The crew for how good it looks, I can hear myself. I can hear myself on someone's echo. I can hear myself on someone's echo. I could hear myself on someone's echo for a second. There. I'm like, wait, stop.
That was the most. That was
might
the
be
most
me.
random transition, though. Like,
Okay. Back to topic. The crew,
right.
it runs brilliantly at like 8x MSAA on one card if I disable SLI.
Right.
And that game looks beautiful, and I think that it's pretty well optimized. But SLI it's a niche market, so they don't really feel the need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I've played the beta when it was out, and I saw no issues at all. It was well optimized, and I pushed it as far as I could, graphically wise.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
thing I'm definitely curious about is with NVIDIA's cards and how much power that they put, they completely overshadow the Titan X. From what we know, they're the best cards that you can buy. at this point.
For now, until
now.
AMD comes out.
Exactly. And I'm curious as to what AMD will bring to the table in order to either be better or at least on the same level as NVIDIA.
Because right now, AMD cards with DirectX 12 can beat the 900 series.
Well, okay. To get into the super scientific here, you guys are familiar with Moore's Law, correct?
Yes.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, there was... Oh, man, when was it? It was a couple months ago. NVIDIA had said that they would not be improving their Titans. Said something to the lines of... Which is weird when they come out with new cards that are far superior. But they had said that they just wanted to make them more efficient. And a lot of people were starting to worry that maybe this was because Moore's Law was actually starting to take some serious effect here. So, when it comes to this, how much power do you think that we can keep going? Like, there's only so much that we can put on. I mean, it's sand,
True,
How much more power?
I feel like at that point, when Moore's Law comes into effect, you'll start to get to the point of quantum computing and all that, and eventually that's going to become consumer. There's no way that technology like that is going to stay in the scientific and private sector forever. It's got to go public like that.
Because right now, we have enough GPU power to run 4K at 100 hertz on most games. Like a 4 Titan X setup can run 4K at 100 hertz plus easy. Not on everything on Ultra, but you can run it. And do you really need to go to 8K and beyond? You don't. You don't need to go to 8K and beyond.
Of course you do. I mean, there's no point. You've always got to go further.
The thing is, on a monitor, you can't tell the difference between 4K and 8K on a massive TV. Okay, fine, on a monitor.
Well, then again, you've also got people saying you can't tell the difference between 30 and 60 FPS.
No, that's blatant ignorance. What ignorance?
No. However, when I was new, and I'm sure this was with everybody, when I was new to PC gaming, I didn't tell a difference either. It's because you're not familiar with it, and this might be the same thing.
No, the thing is, if you're playing with a controller, you really can't. Use a mouse, the moment your frame rate drops, you feel it immediately.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the difference between 4K and 8K.
Oh, 4K
when I got used to 60 FPS, I could easily spot the difference. If you showed me right now 60 FPS and 50, I'd tell you the difference. I'd know. However, when it comes to 4K and 8K, I've never seen 8K. At least I haven't. Oh, really?
Yes. Thing is, on a massive, like a 55 to 60 inch TV, you can spot the difference. On a 27 to 30 inch monitor on your PC table, I don't think it's not significant.
But you can tell the difference then.
You probably can. It's probably like 59 and 60 hertz. The difference, you can tell it, but it's not significant.
Right.
See, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But
you do admit that there's a difference.
There is a difference. There is no doubt a difference, but it's quite insignificant. And Japan made 8K like a display. What was it, a 17-inch, 120 hertz 8K display? I'm like, why? What is the point of a 17-inch 8K display?
Well, you might also ask, what's the point of having 4 980 Ti's in your machine?
Because I want to run like NVIDIA Surround.
Okay, well, that's not the exact same thing. But you understand, like, it's because we're PC enthusiasts.
Yes, I know.
Maybe it doesn't make a huge difference, but we want it.
Yes, exactly. I get what you mean. Because I can run Surround on like 2970s.
I mean, you can't just have something that isn't the best if you're an enthusiast. You're gonna want the best you can get. 4K, 8K, difference or not, you're gonna want the 8K simply because it's better. Even if it's not very easy to tell the difference, it's still there.
You just want bragging rights. I have an 8K monitor.
Well, see, that's
bragging rights.
That's a very slippery slope that you can head down, though, because I mean, as soon as you start purchasing things that, and I'm gonna agree with you to a point, Don. As soon as you start purchasing things that are unnecessary, I mean, it's for me, I'd start to feel like an Apple fanboy. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
No,
yeah.
no, no, no. Don't
To
say
be
that.
honest, I've been doing this for the past 6, 7 years. Every time a new
Right.
GPU comes out, I sell mine, buy a new one. I've been doing
Really?
this. Yes, I've been doing that for a while. Because thing is, what I do, I have like my room, my beast of a computer here. Then I have an HP PC where the old stuff goes into in the hall.
Now,
The outdated stuff will go in the HP PC or my mom's computer or my dad's computer.
now, real quick, back to NVIDIA. Do you guys know about the whole Order of 10 sweepstakes things they've got going on?
Yes, I saw it on
Yeah,
Van
I've
Show.
heard about it.
So,
no.
no, you don't know what
No.
that is?
Honestly, I haven't been looking much of this up, and the reason is because I'm trying to keep myself safe.
Essentially,
Safe from what?
Safe from wanting to buy one of these new
no,
cars.
no. The thing is that this would be perfect for you if you don't want to buy one. Basically, what they're doing is they're putting out daily puzzles that you need to solve, and there's going to be 10 challenges across 10 days. Today, they released the second one with 10 chances to win each day for a total of 1,000 or 100 chances to win each day for a total of 1,000 chances or whatever. No,
English,
Oh,
maths, words.
sorry, I'm fumbling over my words. They're giving out 100
I'm
things.
sorry.
They're giving out 100 items each day for 1,000 prices over the entire sweepstakes. And those who complete the puzzle, you've got a chance to win 50 limited edition Order of 10 t-shirts, which is like their website that they use to reveal all this, and 50 pins. And each day there's going to be someone who will receive a GTX 1080 Founders Edition card for free.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
And
So they're giving away 10 of those.
Okay.
right.
And because
And
someone
I'm-
had won because I've seen it on Instagram. Because
supposed to s-
Nvidia's Instagram had I can't type. Hold on. Because I'm trying to. Because it's cold to the point where I'm sitting on my hands to keep them warm.
Are you kidding me? I'm burning up in here. It's so bad. Like, if I had a fan that made literally no noise, I just pop it right here, right in front of my microphone, and I just have it blow on me at all times because it gets so hot in my room.
Oh,
I need
Nvidia
a
is still
ceiling fan.
Instagram. So I forgot about that. Oh yeah, so Nvidia gave away. Where is it? Aha. Oh, someone won a 1080 for their themed Resident Evil themed PC build at DreamHack.
Oh wow.
I'm
That's
gonna
really
link
cool.
you. I'm gonna link you guys this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
look
so,
at
so
it.
they're giving away a 1080 Founders Edition card every day, as well as 50 t-shirts and 50 pins every day. So that's, I mean, you've got a chance to win a card.
Yeah, got a chance.
Not that you will win a card, but you've got
Right.
a very, 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 very
With
small
the hundreds
chance.
of thousands of people entering, you got a chance.
Right. Right. And it's
Wow.
it's really one of those things where there are like millions of people signing up for this. You know for a fact you're not going to win.
Yeah.
But that
Right.
won't stop you.
Yes.
No.
But the
no,
thing is,
it really...
you gotta take the chance, just cause.
Exactly. Even if you've got a fraction of a percent of a chance, it's still a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Totally.
So I'll go ahead and throw a link to that in the chat so that you can go ahead and enter that if you want, Barry.
Sure. Yeah,
Thanks.
that seems like a...
Of course, I'm not just going to give you the answers to the puzzles or anything.
Well, why would you? I think I'm a smart enough guy to figure it out.
Yeah. When it comes to
Or do you guys
I don't.
do you guys think I'm a dum-dum?
No, I'm just saying I had trouble with these, and a couple of people that I was talking to had trouble with these, so I'm not necessarily.
Oh,
expecting
I
people
am
to-
not bothered to go through all this effort to get a 1080. I look at the puzzle once, I'm like, nope.
All right, what were you gonna say, Dracul? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask if this contest or is it worldwide or just from
I assume.
It goes to the 50 states of the United States of America and DC, Canada excluding Quebec for some reason. I wouldn't know why they did that.
Because
Denmark-
screw them.
Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, and the UK excluding Northern Ireland. Those are the.
Great.
Oh, well, both
Well,
of us,
I'm out. I'm out.
me and Dracula are out.
Well, I'm
Serious.
proud to be an American, where at least I can get a 1080.
for potentially free.
I'm gonna go buy it
Potentially
TI
free.
the day it comes out.
But you know,
Yeah.
this story about not being able to tell the difference, it reminds me when Full HD came out.
No,
It,
full
it,
HD was you could tell the difference.
yeah, totally. But this story, you guys are gonna love this.
Wait. Can you
this-
guys hear that?
Hear what?
That no,
Nope.
No.
very good. Because okay, I'm running another benchmark.
Oh,
Oh.
no. Sorry, continue. Continue.
Okay. It was back in 2005, 2006, I think. And so this is top quality peasantry, so be sure to fix yourself.
Okay, wait. I'm so sorry. We keep cutting you off, but you have a very, very rich voice, and I would like you to reiterate this story with that voice, please.
Okay. So here it goes. I was on a train trip with a couple of friends, and it was right in March when the PS3 came out.
Okay.
So they were still using SD TVs, and they were like, "Oh, those new HD monitors and TVs, it's the quality is actually worse than SD TVs. Why making something like that?" And I was like, "Have you guys play on one of those new monitors?" Sorry. And they refused to do so, and they were still using SCART plugs, and I'm talking about the Xbox and the PS3. They didn't tell the difference, and they didn't even know what HDMI was. And I was like, oh my god, it was
Jeez.
seriously. I'm not.
The level of peasantry this world can go to is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Well,
I couldn't believe myself. It was like, guys, the resolution in this is a lot more superior to SD. How? Oh God.
I think that the problem is we get so familiar and comfortable with certain things, and then when something comes out and boasts that it's better,
You don't believe
we
it.
just we instantly don't want to. For
Yeah.
some reason, we
I
There
think
is-
a lot of
instantly
it
just-
has to do with you don't want to have to fork over the money just to get the better stuff.
I wish I could find this right now because there was an article on
No.
Reddit about someone like down talking the 1080.
really.
Yeah, and it was on PC Monsters, and the creator of the subreddit, Pedro, he himself commented on it. I
No
need to
way.
find this. I need to
Yeah,
find
Oh
this.
man, I want to see this. I
I'm-
want to hear it. at
I'm gonna
least.
try and find it. Hold on.
I second
Okay.
that.
Yeah, seriously. That'd be really funny. I was gonna say, forking over the money to get the newest thing. I mean, it doesn't compute at the same time because you see Apple come out with a new thing and people are hyped as hell. You know what I mean?
No,
But then I
it's-
guess that's
That's a different
They've-
story because
they do a good job with it. Plus, they've got all the fanboys who could really care less as to whether or not it's a quality product.
Yeah, true.
So of
Yeah,
course
right.
they're just gonna go ahead and
However,
just
no.
give them
Thing
their
is,
money
they
and
do
showcase.
do a fair bit of research because the iPhone 6s, I can back that up. The 6s and the 6s Plus, I am an Android fanboy, but I can back up the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, because they are legitimately, they're not worth the money you're spending on it, but there is some technology in it, significantly better technology than the 6. That makes sense. Words. Hello?
no. We're here. I'm reading that article that you.
Oh, just linked.
That
Yeah,
you
yeah. Our eyes are set on the article.
you picked the wrong time to start talking, buddy.
just read. Cut this
Yeah.
bit out. I'm gonna get murdered by all the Android people.
No. That's totally fine. No, and see. Wait, did you say something bad about Android?
No, I said something good about iPhone.
So what?
Oh, you little effort.
I said something good about Apple.
no.
That's why.
And
I
don't get me
what a
wrong.
feel of an Apple phone where it's a closed circuit. You don't have to worry about stuff like
Yes.
launchers and issues with viruses, I guess you could say. Even
Yeah.
though Apple gets viruses, it's a lot less common. You can't just say that it's impervious, they'll still get them, but you have to at least admit that they're a lot less common because it's harder to create them for an Apple product.
Because it's a closed ecosystem. You're not gonna make. You can't really create viruses for a closed ecosystem. Apple devices.
Well, I mean,
But so
Apple
so
devices
is
can only
Windows.
connect with themselves.
Right.
That's the thing.
and I had an iPhone for a very long time. I had one when I was in 12th grade for 2 years, and until after high school. I just recently got an Android phone, and the biggest problem for me with those phones was that there was no limit to what I could do on the Android, but there was so limited
Yes,
in what I
that's
could
true.
do on the iPhone. And yes, they run a Unix system. Their operating system is amazing,
Yeah.
and that prevents it from, getting a lot of viruses. However,
Go on.
it wasn't worth the trade for me
Yeah.
when it came down to
yeah,
it.
when
Especially being a guy who's
thing
into
with
specs.
thing with Android phones, if you're gonna use it like you don't have a brain cell, they will stop quote unquote stop working after like a year and a half because it's clogged up with all sort of cache files and stuff that you need to clean out.
Right.
Apple's OS
True.
will do that for you. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Android, you have to use your brain. Apple, you don't. That's why there's the appeal for that.
Oh, so that explains why they're all zombies then.
Yes.
You know,
You don't have to use your brain. It just plain works.
Oh, this podcast has gone out of control.
Well,
Oh, man.
just
We're so screwed.
To be honest, the only reason that I prefer Android is because of the price, the customizability that you get over your system,
True.
Right.
and I don't really like the idea of having a closed ecosystem like Apple has.
True.
yeah.
Right.
My-
And there's really nothing wrong with Apple products. I really have to say, there's nothing wrong with Apple products. If you're into Apple product, that's fine. However, it's those people who say that they're better.
Did not.
I mean, that's just obviously not true.
Yeah.
You can look at the specs, you can know for yourself. I shouldn't have to tell you what's better about it or not.
It's not the things that people say. It's because these YouTube channels, couple of channels. I'm not hating on. I like these channels, but then they watch a video and then they take what they want from it. They don't take the entire picture.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Because
Yeah, exactly.
iPhones, because someone did the iPhone 6 when it came out. Someone did sort of an app launch delay timing thing with an S6 and an iPhone 6.
Okay.
I think those things. They launched the Angry Birds app. You click the app, iPhone launches within a second. The S6 takes 5 to 6 seconds to launch. And they take that and like, the iPhone's faster. No, the iPhone's not faster. It has faster memory. It has faster memory to read from. That's the only difference if you look into it. This is the problem with
Jeez.
people.
Right. Right. And actually, no, I've made the same mistake before. In one of my videos, I was talking about how it was with Michael. I said that Michael had come to me and told me that his iPhone was better than every other phone, and I told him that my phone has double the megapixels that his has. Now, I know that megapixels don't count for almost anything. But because I said that and I didn't talk about the lens or the picture quality or anything like that, I just brought up megapixels, people were angry at me. And I can understand why. Because in a way, I will admit it, I wasn't very objective about that. I simply used megapixels to try to prove that my phone had a better camera. And to me, obviously that I knew for a fact that wasn't how it worked. But I was talking to someone who also didn't know how it worked, and I was trying to describe it to him. So I can understand how you could do this trying to be objective and accidentally make a mistake. But I don't feel like that's where a lot of people's heads are at.
Have
Yeah,
you
and-
used an iPhone's camera before?
Huh?
Have you used an iPhone's camera before? Like the camera software on an iPhone, yeah? Like on the
Yeah.
6, on like the 5s, 5S6 and all of them? It is absolutely amazing. Like, how idiot-proof it is. It's amazing.
What do you mean? What do you
It's
mean?
because you do not have to know anything about photography to take a good picture with an iPhone. It'll do
Yes.
all the thinking, it'll do all the processing for you. I'm like,
Yep.
wow.
No, and I hear
So-
that.
I'm amazed by that.
I hear
That's- That's why people think it's better.
Right. And in a way, I mean, I mean, okay, when the LG G4 came out, which is the phone that I currently have, the one thing that sold me was battery life and the camera. And I looked at the camera, and there was all a bunch of little tweaks that I could do. I could upgrade or adjust, not upgrade. I could adjust anything I wanted to when it came to the camera and how it shot a picture. And I loved the idea of doing that.
Exactly.
And it
Some
really
people
just
don't.
depends on the person.
Yeah, some people
Right.
don't. That's the problem. That is the exact problem. Because my phone, I have the HTC One M8, and the camera is absolute dog wank. To be honest, it is absolutely fucking terrible. Jesus.
I've
It's
never
got-
heard that before.
It is the camera. This thing has like the dual camera setup thing, and it is
Right.
absolutely horrendous. It's like
Right.
it's got a full ultra pixel, quote unquote ultra pixel nonsense, and it like
Right.
on the phone it looks brilliant. You put it on anything besides the phone, it looks like a picture taken 5 years ago.
Right.
It doesn't work. I don't understand. And the thing is, it's not fully automated either. It works. You have to do the settings yourself, and
Huh.
pile of crap.
Well, to me, I'll only spend an awful lot of money on a phone when I can build it, like my PC. And
Have
what
you
I-
built yourself a phone?
Excuse me?
If you built yourself a phone, you are a god, my friend.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Hang on.
Does anyone here remember phone bricks? Or
I've
phone
heard of
blocks?
that. Yeah.
Did anything ever come of that? I haven't heard
Nope.
of that in ages.
Nope.
Oh,
That Kickstarter,
yeah.
flopped horribly.
That made me so
Aw.
sad.
Yeah, me-
Hold
'Cause,
on.
like,
I'm gonna
I
look
would
up.
have loved.
phone.
That
Anyway,
had me so excited because it was
Try
the
cool.
idea of you would never have to buy
Right.
another phone. You would just have to have this base, and you would upgrade the parts as you needed. It'd be just like a computer.
Yeah, what bothers
Right.
me most on phones is I don't have the flexibility I have on a PC. For example, I'm a Linux user most of the time. I just come to
Oh.
Windows to play games, and Android is the closest thing I have to Windows until the Ubuntu phone comes out, at least.
Right.
I like to have I like to know what's under the hood. Like I know what parts there are on my PC because I built it. Same with my OS, at least Linux. I've built it from scratch as well. On Windows, that doesn't happen. I don't know what's running on background. At least I just know what Microsoft wants me to know.
Right.
They keep spying, like they're probably spying on us right now.
That's okay. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
Yet.
one thing, going back to phone blocks real quick, apparently Google had a thing called Project Aura, and that was an
Yeah.
open hardware modular smartphone. Not much is really like, they never really said much about it from what I can tell.
I think one of
But
the
it's
issues.
still
phone
going
block-
to be coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, supposedly it's coming out
I
this
think
year
one
sometime.
of the deciding factors that sort of put phone blocks in the ground is the size of the phone, because it was an actual brick. It was a full-on brick. If you look at
Well,
the phone,
then
it's
again-
a proper brick.
Is that any different from an iPhone? Let's be completely honest here. Is that brick any different from like the shape of the early iPhones that people
Okay,
did?
okay.
No.
Look. I will defend the iPhone to this point.
Yes.
I will say that one thing that turns me off from iPhones and Samsungs are not the phones itself, but the cases that are designed for them make them look like elephant turds
Yes.
that I have to
Yes.
shove in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I don't like that. I want something slim so that if I need, I don't want this rubber mesh that will grab onto my pants and pull my pocket inside out when I'm trying to pull my phone out of my pocket.
Yes.
And for a long time, because of that, I had an OtterBox with the same issue. I had a holster that I would have my phone in, like a Batman retard, and I would walk around. No, like I would walk around with that thing. Yeah, and I'd walk around with that thing because of that very issue. So I mean, I can see that both ways. But I mean, I when it comes to the brick, they would have to redesign it properly. And the way that I saw that Kickstarter, they had, if you wanted a better camera, you
Very
could put
cut
a
out.
really nice.
Something
Am I
like
here?
this is what
You
Google's
cut- you-
trying to do. And
Uh-oh.
what I just linked is a lot better than what phone blocks originally was. That's for sure.
Right.
And apparently these are
Oh.
actually a thing, and it just hasn't really fully released yet. But
Oh,
they've got a lot
that,
of stuff
that
planned
looks
out.
a lot more
They've got-
interesting than phone vlogs.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I like the way it forms the design on the back with the
Yeah,
lines
exactly.
between each module.
Whoa, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, how easy is that to fall off, or is there a case on the back that you? Oh, there's probably a case that
It's
you.
probably,
you
I think it's magnets or it's just friction sticks in there.
I don't know
Oh
about
no, no,
magnets. That'd be a
no,
little.
it's on it's on like a sliding rail type thing.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it must have like a rail
oh.
and then it clicks in
Yeah.
like it would with a. That's a
Yeah, I
really
think-
interesting way of doing it.
Yeah,
That is neat.
Then again, they were
Like-
saying that these would be available 2015, according to this article, and
yeah, and
well,
it's
Mm.
a year and a half later.
Right.
hopefully they're
I'm-
still working on them
I'm gonna
because
try and
Oh,
find
you know
this
out.
what?
is something that I want.
I bet you found this image. www.4chan.com.
Wait, what?
4chan.
Don't link. Yeah,
Like one of those-
4chan. Yeah, what about 4chan? I can't go on 4chan because where I live, 4chan is blocked.
Really?
Yes.
No, I was talking like this image right here of this phone that you can modular phone. You know, just trying to lie to people. That's what 4chan does.
Oh,
I see.
the picture I just linked in chat. See that case? Yeah. See the three. See how it's got like 4 pieces on one side and then one massive piece on one side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the case that came for my phone. That is an official HTC case. It comes off in 3 pieces and sort of slide out the back cover. I had that case, and that case has saved my phone from being being absolutely destroyed. Because I have broken that case in like completely, just destroyed that case entirely, and I no longer have a case for my phone now. If you see how like robust and strong that thing is, my phone would be like a bag of just bits of steel by now. But I didn't have a case. I don't mind a massively beefy case if it does its job.
Yeah, I see what
Am
you
I
mean.
making-
My last phone, it hit the ground accidentally a few times, but third time's the charm, right? And it completely
Yeah.
shattered
Oh wow.
because the case wasn't very strong. So poor thing is it's over there, I think.
This case costs like what, around $80, $60 to $80 for the case.
This one right here.
The last picture I sent, yeah, that case cost $60 to $80.
That's ridiculous.
That's a
It is
bit,
incredibly strong. It looks flimsy as all hell,
It does.
but it is unbelievably strong. I do not understand how they make this.
There's
It's
no
plastic.
way.
The back piece is like a ceramic, and the top and bottom pieces are plastic. But it is unbelievably strong. I've been go-karting, and my phone is in my pocket. My phone slid out of my pocket, and slid along the floor for like a good 100 meters, and it was fine. And it was perfectly fine. I'm like, what the fuck?
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. That's
I made
crazy.
the,
Arr.
I made the mistake of leaving it in there, but it slid out and slid a proper distance, and it was fine. I'm like, what the hell? At that case, I do not understand.
it's like
All right, Dracul. I haven't heard a lot from you. I'd like to hear some, maybe something. What's the topic you want to talk about? I haven't heard much from you, and I'd like to hear
sure.
more input from you.
Well, I'm loving talking about the phones and the OSs, so I'm pretty cool about
Go
talking
for it.
about the walled gardens. That's something that really doesn't sit well with me. Walled gardens in software.
Walled garden. Walled
Yeah.
garden. Oh, I got what you mean. Oh, this.
Yeah, like
Ah.
what Microsoft is doing, what Apple is doing, which reminds me, I don't know if you guys saw it at the PC Master Race subreddit. A stick of RAM for a PC and a stick of RAM for the Mac, both identically the same. Well, the Mac one costed like $140, and the PC one $70.
If I remember correctly, the RAM one was like $200 for a single stick of 8 gigs.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
mom has a Mac, and she needs more RAM. I think that was the topic of.
I mean,
that was the title. That was the title of it.
How can they
Oh,
do that?
and,
It's the same stick, right?
She
Right.
bought her son bought the RAM and installed it, and she was still having issues. He found out that it was just she had too much space taken up on the hard drive because it was
Yeah.
pictures or something. And they took
Yeah.
it to the geniuses at Apple, and they said the issue was that he installed more RAM, and then she had to buy a completely new MacBook with a 2 terabyte hard drive.
What?
And
Yeah,
she was
that's
told
Mac
that
for
1 terabyte of data was more than anyone could ever use. And I can tell you right now that I've
No,
only got
not
like
true.
100 gigabytes
It's up to a point. It's like I don't feel bad anymore. Like someone tried to help her when she was ignorant. If you're that ignorant, you deserve what's coming your way. You deserve all of it. I do not care. I do not feel bad.
See, no, I hear you. I hear you because again, and I don't want to like keep talking about this guy, but that guy I would talk about, Michael, at work, there came a point where I just felt like I just couldn't talk to him. You know, I couldn't. I mean, I could talk to him. I just couldn't convince him that he was wrong because every time I tried, it was me. I was wrong. You know, I couldn't reason with the guy, and so eventually, and we all knew he was wrong. Everyone around the table at lunch, we'd all sit there listening so intentively at what he was saying, knowing full well that it was BS, and we were just sitting there like, God, you're so smart, you know. And he's sitting there complaining about how his PC doesn't run well and things are happening. Oh my God, get this. You guys are going to love this. Okay? He sits there and he goes, GTA is not running well on my PC. I have two 970s and GTA is telling me that I have 8 gigabytes of VRAM that it should be using, but it will not let me play the game at 4K Ultra. I don't know why. And I was like, dude, your cards, they're not strong enough. They're not powerful enough to run that game because you're only getting 3.5 gigabytes of VRAM. They don't stack. VRAM doesn't stack. Yeah. And he started telling me it does. And I said, okay, fine. It stacks. Okay, fine. Now, what do you think the problem is? What do you think the problem is? He goes, I don't know. I was like, here's the problem, Michael. Check your monitor. I'll bet your monitor's screwed up. You know, I threw something just ridiculous out there. And you know what he said? Yeah, I'm actually gonna get that looked at because I think that's the issue too.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I was kidding.
Real quick, I wouldn't be surprised if he just like he didn't have his video cards enabled or his monitor was plugged into his motherboard or something.
I swear. Oh, if that was a thing. You know, the thing is, his thinking, his friend Michael, his thinking is kind of justified with the way GTA shows up the amount of VRAM that you have.
Right. It does tell you that you have more than you actually have.
The thing is, I have 390 Ti, so six gigs each, so total 80. It should be 18 gigs, quote unquote. And you look in GTA, it shows up as 18 gigs of VRAM, but you know that's not true.
Right.
It's blatantly obvious.
It's absolutely. It's absolutely not true.
Real quick.
But the bar, how it's... Wait, go on.
I linked the story of the
because
RAM and the Skype.
Yeah.
For those
I've seen the story. I've already seen the story. Yeah, I fell over laughing. Like
Oh, I didn't read it yet.
Yeah, but this brings me back.
I fell over my chair laughing. Good God.
Yeah, but a single 8 gig stick of RAM for Apple, it's just ECC RAM, nothing extremely special. DDR3, $200.
Back on what I was saying, the thing here that annoys me is that it's the same stick of RAM, compatible and everything, but you just stick an Apple logo in there and it's worth automatically double.
Right.
It's just
one of these days, what someone's gonna need to do is shit on a plate, put an Apple logo on it, it'll be worth $1 million.
And you know what the issue is? Is someone will buy that.
Totally. Yes.
Like, no, here's what anyone could do. Like, seriously, if you guys are scumbags out there, anyone watching this video, you guys are scummy. You could do this. Grab a stick of RAM that Apple sells, and it doesn't even have to be from them. It could be any stick of RAM that is the exact same. And Apple stickers are worth nothing. They're like a penny. Go ahead and pop one on there. I'll bet you could sell that for so much more than you bought it for. And that's such an issue. But you could totally do it. And you know what the problem is? That doesn't make you a good marketer. You can use Apple's marketing to screw people over because people are just that gullible. I don't know if it works. I haven't tested it, but I'll bet you it would.
Yeah, it is. It's the same like I hear so much crap about how Apple products are better for work, design, music, and everything. Well, sure, there might be I'm not saying that there aren't any good programs to work sound and video and all that, but those kinds of programs exist on other operating systems as well.
Or you could build a Hackintosh.
Exactly.
Yep.
Build a Hackintosh for like a quarter of the price. You're sorted.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, the programs aren't that superior unless they're that automatically insta hits. You know, you just insta rap machines. I'm not sure. Back in the day, that was very popular.
Like Songify kind of stuff?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's.
You know, like these modern singers. I know I sound like an old geezer talking, but it's like well, I don't wanna bring Justin Bieber to the podcast. Oh, I guess I already have.
Let's invite him. I have him on my friends list.
Cool. Okay, bring him on.
No, I'm just messing.
It's like we see a lot of artists over there with no talent, and they abuse the sound effects on their voices, and see what I mean? And these kinds of programs, they're all too automatic. You just don't get. It's like you don't even need talent to work or create something these days. And I think Apple supports this kind of thinking. You know, I don't need to think. I just need to press this button and everything's done.
Yep. You know what really cracks me up?
Yeah.
When you were just talking about that auto-tune and how that, I don't know if you guys heard it.
Yes, I
but,
heard
like,
it. I heard it.
Yeah.
His
Okay, it
voice
was so
went autotune
ironic.
for a second.
Yeah, it was so ironic because your vocals just totally screwed up at the same time, and it actually sounded like a robot for a second, and I was like, did he do that on purpose? How did he do that on purpose? That cracked me up a little bit. But no, I see exactly what you're saying, and that was the problem. Was Apple made me feel it didn't make me feel stupid, but it made me feel like they were treating me like I was a child. And that's how consoles made me feel too. When I was playing consoles and I switched to PC and went back, I tried to play Red Dead Redemption again, and I felt like I was a child. And not because of how, the game was made, but because of how Xbox wanted me to do things, I couldn't watch a movie at the same time I played the game. I couldn't do anything else I wanted to do. I could play music at the same time. But it's just, it's so weird. I don't like being limited to what I can do. I'm an adult. I want to be able to customize, and I want to be able to do, what I like doing at the same time I like doing my other hobbies.
You know a reason. Go on. You could continue.
So speaking of Red Dead, did you see the emulation footage of that Xbox 360 emulator running Red Dead Redemption?
No.
No,
What?
I haven't yet.
It wasn't that good. It still needs like a lot of
Barry's already typing away.
I need it now. I need it now.
Let me see if I can find it.
My next video that I'm making is actually on emulators, and I talk about how it's unfortunate that we get to play these games for free when we should be able to pay for them. There's no point to have these games come out on consoles. I mean, I get the point. Obviously, you need to sell your console through something. And the console itself won't sell without the exclusives, but we're going to be able to play them for free. You could at least release them a couple years later, or do something like that. Timed exclusives are fine. I can wait 2 years. I would like to give you guys some money for Red Dead Redemption. I'd like to give you guys some money for Legend of Zelda, but you won't let me do it, and that kind of hurts a little bit. Because I'm playing the game for free, and not only am I playing it for free, but the emulator allows me to upgrade the settings. I can actually play it at 60 FPS. I can play it where the game looks gorgeous,
The issue is, the PS3 and the Xbox 360, that, architecture of games is the hardest to emulate, because it's like a very custom architecture. Like the PS3 cell processor nonsense thing.
Yeah,
it's very,
exactly.
very custom architecture. It's very, very difficult to emulate that. That is the problem right now.
Right.
That is why this game looks like before pre-alpha.
Right.
Isn't the PS4 and Xbox One's architecture are so close to PC, it wouldn't be that hard to emulate it, would it?
PS4 and Xbox. No, listen. The PS4 is a downclocked HD 7870.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
That's true.
AMD Radeon HD 7870. That's basically what the PS4 is.
The issue, though, is that we can't start emulating mid-generation.
Yeah,
All
you're
those
gonna
emulators will be taken down if we did that, so we have to
Yeah.
wait until the generation takes off, which is
Yeah.
fine. I can wait. I can wait until this generation dies off to play The Last of Us. I don't have an issue.
This
And
generation
Bloodborne.
won't last. This generation won't last till the middle of next year because PS 4.5 nonsense. That's coming.
I seriously hope you're right because you see,
It's sad, you know. Because thing is, I think what happened basically. You guys watch Rich of Review Tech USA?
Yes.
I do every so yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. He put it into perspective perfectly. The PS4 and the Xbox One were meant to come out. Should have come out 2010.
Right.
But then there was a recession in 2008. And if they did put these consoles out in 2010, Sony would have lost a hell of a lot of money because of the recession that was going on. They wouldn't have sold anything. So
Right.
they sort of had to let the economy level itself out again, and then these consoles came out about 3 years after they should have. And that is why the hardware is so goddamn outdated. Because if we stick to the 5-year consoles, like 2006, no, 5 and 6 was when the PS3 and Xbox 360 came out.
yeah,
And then you come 5 years ahead to the PS4, and then another 5 years ahead to the PS4.5 or whatever was coming out new. That would make more sense.
Yeah, it would. And there's this thing that's been making me think, which is back when they launched PS4 and the Xbone.
Why is it PS?
The Xbone. Because people say XB1, so Xbone.
Yeah, Xbone
Right.
is a lot cuter, I think. Well, they actually bragged about the architecture being close to the PC. So, in my perspective, it's it's one less excuse to port their games to PC because the architecture is so similar. So why not port it? There's so many.
You know, something drove me up the wall during the Xbox One and PS4 launch. An EA executive, I think, someone higher up at EA, bragged that the PS4 and the Xbox One were 2 generations ahead of the highest end PCs you could get at that time.
Oh, I
I
remember.
fell over my chair laughing. I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, because when those consoles came out, they were like 5 years behind.
They were good.
Exactly.
They were a good 5 years behind. Yeah.
At least.
Like the system that I had, I at the time had a 980 in my machine, and when someone had said that these consoles were going to be generations above like they normally are, I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I'd like to see what kind of power output they can do. Finally, a system will be able to play at 1080p or higher at 60 FPS, and that's a little enticing. But then I saw, I mean, I can, being a PC builder, I can look up the specs. I know exactly what's going to happen with these specs, and I looked them up, and it was like, are you unaware of what's out right now? Like
1.7 teraflops. 1.7 teraflops. There you go. That's all you need to know. 1.7 teraflops.
Well, the thing is, the peasants don't need to know those numbers. They don't have a
They
clue
don't.
what they're talking about. They
No,
just
they
say, wow.
They see 8 gigs of GDDR5 and like, oh my god, we have more memory than 90 Ti.
That's
Right. No, that cracked me up when I read that in one of my. Was that my second video?
That was me. I put that comment down.
That cracked me up, man.
8 gigs, so much for 8 gigs of GDDR5. With a hung out face.
Yeah.
That was me.
that got me to think. Why I'm curious to know how long you guys have been playing PC.
Okay, you guys first. I'll let you guys go first. Yeah.
Okay, Don,
2006 or 7. I built a Q6600 and an 8600.
Oh, nice.
That was OG. That was my first ever PC. That was
Jeez.
that lasted till 2008 or 9. That was
That's very
significantly
cool.
So like 10 years. You've been playing for 10 years.
Yep,
PC.
much. I had a console
Okay, what
for
do-
like since after my PC died. My Q600 that build died 2009. From that date till 2012, I had a PS3. So I've been through everything, and then I built my 680 rig, and then last year I built this thing.
Nice.
Just-
What about
I
you?
kind of fell off. Oh, you go on.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were finished. I was gonna ask Dracul. What about how long has he been playing?
Who, me? Oh, let's see. First PC I've built was a Pentium 2 back in the day with.
Oh, you are more OG than I am. Good God.
Well,
Jesus.
if you take a good look at my name, you should know I'm ancient by now.
I don't know. I can't really put any two and two together in this.
So yeah, that was my first PC, a Pentium 2. I was learning my ropes on a tech store, so it was my first ever PC. Well, not my first ever PC, the first PC I've built with my own hands. It had
Shout
32
out.
gigs of RAM, I think, or was it 64? I can't remember well. And well,
64 megabytes or gigabytes.
megabytes. Oh my God!
Gigabytes is what we have now.
Yeah.
Megabytes.
Okay. Moving right along.
Right.
Well, I was more than happy then because it ran Quake 2 maxed out. It was very popular back then. Quake 2.
Such a good feeling too.
Yeah, it was like
Like no matter when you start, just such a good feeling when you can max out your graphics settings.
yeah, that was the first thing I did when I installed the game and started playing, and it looked so beautiful, and I was baffled at it. And the funny thing is, back then I've played well. I've always played in both teams till until the PS4 came out, because the way gaming evolved or is evolving, I think the trend of going digital only, cloud only, it's worrying me because we're stopping owning the things we buy. I mean, we're not entitled to the digital property, of course, but
Yeah.
we're entitled to the copy we own. Instead, nowadays we're just buying the rights to play the game. It's
Right.
I don't feel very safe with that approach. So that's why I'm glad there's still stores like GOG and well, GOG mostly. that
Yeah, pretty much.
GOG is the only one that I think that's the
Yeah,
only one left.
the moment I've started realizing that consoles were they just want our money, plain and simple.
Yeah.
They're not trying to hide it anymore. It's like my first PS3 died with a yellow light of death, and that was the first blow, I think. My saves were tied to that machine only. So when
Oh.
I had them on a USB stick, and when I okay, do not hit me for this. I bought a second one, a second PS3.
Understandable.
okay.
Understandable. It's fine.
No, I hear that. Yeah.
And when I popped the pen in and copied my saves over, it didn't recognize them. And then I realized that they were tied to the other machine. So I was very disappointed. And then back when the PS4 was announced, I was hyped, but I was already kind of wary. And then when I saw that I've bought a lot of digital titles on PSN, when I've heard that the digital titles were to stay on PS3 only, if I wanted them on PS4, I had to buy them again. I was like, say what? There's no way I'm gonna keep supporting this. It's what? And
Yeah.
then
Right.
I sold every single console I had. I sold every single game. I still have a few. I'm selling them, and I've rebought them. At least the games I liked most on Steam and GOG. And some money. There was still some money left to build my new PC I'm using right now. So it's
Right.
like
I do have. I was going to talk about something right now. God damn it, I just forgot. You know how one of the cons? I was talking to Barry about this a while ago. We were playing GTA. You know, one of the best things about PC is the infinite backwards compatibility thing, right?
exactly.
Right.
That doesn't work entirely. That's the problem I have.
Have you
Have a-
tried?
What do you mean on? What do you
PC
mean?
You know, I talked to you about GTA, right? GTA 4.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't work on Windows 10.
Oh.
It doesn't work on Windows 10.
Right.
I
Right,
have my
yeah.
PS3. I have my PS3 like sitting right next to my PS3 and the PS4 sitting right next to my PC. I have the PS3 solely to play GTA 4 because I can't play it on my PC.
Well,
Right.
and it
there-
lags to all hell on the PS3. Like it runs at 25 to 30 FPS. I'm like unplayable,
God.
but I can at least play it. On the
Right.
PC, it doesn't work. Period. It just doesn't work.
Well, there is. Well, if it's not. Well, some games have trouble with newer operating systems, but if the games aren't too demanding, you can run them on a virtual machine, I think. Well, at least.
No, no, thing is,
Yeah.
I have this thing dual booted. I have a Windows 7 on another drive. I
Oh.
can swap to that and play. But it's too much. I don't do that. I don't even Windows 7. It's a hassle to get because games Windows Live is no longer a thing. You know that.
Yeah.
Right.
That gives me issues every single time when I'm playing GTA 4.
Mhm.
Games Windows Live, it's
See-
so annoying.
Microsoft did screw us over with that quite a bit in a
It's
lot
sad.
of our games.
They did the
And-
same
I
with
have
the
a few
Microsofts. They did the same with the Windows Store, from what I've heard.
They
It's
really
not
the
did.
very
Windows
good.
Store is a sad excuse. I just saw the Forza Apex 3. I'm like, oh my god. You don't want your money. You don't want your money back for that game. You want
hate-
your time back for that game.
I hate that game.
The time
Like,
you
I-
spent like loading through the game, you want that time back.
The biggest issue was that I really, really wanted to enjoy that game, and I'm not like a Forza fan, you know. I played maybe 2 of them on my Xbox, but they were fun, and
Forza
I remember
4
them being fun.
Forza 4 is my all-time favorite
Yeah.
car game. I loved Forza 4, and then they fuck up 5 and 6. I'm like,
My
Fuck,
favorite my favorite car game was Gran Turismo 5, I think it was, for the PS2.
For the PS2, for the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
GT.
de-
Or maybe it
that
was Gran. You know, let me
Or
find out which
GT4.
one it was.
GT5, I think, was PS3 because I had it for PS3.
Yeah, GT5 was for PS3, I think, and GT4
Yeah.
I
And-
have.
and-
Yeah.
And one thing, the rivalry between players who play GT5 and Forza 4. Oh my god, the toxicity between these people.
It's
I
ridiculous.
think
I
it was
s-
Gran
like-
Turismo 4.
Yeah, I like Gran Turismo and the Forza community. Like how toxic they are to each other. I'm like, why?
Actually,
Yeah.
You
I
both
don't
have
know.
the same interests. You both like the same kind of video game. Get
Yeah, yeah.
along.
It's like the. It's like
It
that-
wasn't even
this-
4. For me, it was 3.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, wow, you are a properly. Oh my god. That was the that was the proper Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo 3 is when they sort of started sort of climb.
Yeah, that's
There's one
in
and-
my opinion.
1
that
and
was-
2 were a
that was
bit
the
meh.
best.
3, 4, and 5, 6. That's when they sort of like climbing.
Yeah, I had both 3 and 4 and loved them both.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed playing them. Yeah.
So, Lightning,
Yes.
we kind of skipped you over. How long have you been playing on PC?
Well, it depends on what you want to say is PC, like what you would count as PC gaming. When I was
Anything with
6,
a Windows or Linux OS.
Okay, so when I was 6 for my birthday, my parents, for my 6th birthday, there was a PC that my dad got for his office work, and it was like my birthday gift that I would be able to use it a lot. And I used that a lot, and there were a couple games that I remember playing. I don't remember like the names of the games or whatever, but I remember playing games on that and watching like a Code Lyoko, that old Cartoon Network show or whatever it was, the old French anime like thing.
Mm.
And then there was games that I played on that. And then I had gotten a PS2 and played stuff like Guitar Hero 2 and the original Jack and Daxter, those and Spyro Heroes Tale, and those were like one of the best gaming experiences I've had ever. I'd say that those trumped PC for me, were those old PS2 games, because I have such fond memories of playing those. And then I got an Xbox 360 and played Fallout 3 and stuff like that a lot. And that's when I had gotten a laptop and started to play games a lot on that. And I had gotten Skyrim and Fallout 3 and all these old games that I had liked on the Xbox 360 just so that I could mod them. Because that's the whole thing that got me into PC gaming, was the modding aspect of
Modding.
things. Being able to put weapons and quests into things to extend the game for me. Things to make the game better, give it more content. That's what originally got me into PC gaming. And then I probably
What?
made the worst decision that I've ever made in terms of buying a game, and I pre-ordered Watch Dogs.
Oh,
Oh!
that game
Oh!
was a flop and a half. Jesus. Okay, here's a question.
And
What PC
here's the
game have you
worst part.
modded to?
My,
What
my
PC game? Oh,
what PC games have I modded?
like modded the most, like modded to beyond recognition.
I'll bet you it's
Oh
Skyrim.
boy,
I'll bet you.
Fallout
Bet you
I
New
$1
haven't
million
played.
Vegas.
it's
You know,
Skyrim.
don't rip me a new one. I've never played Skyrim.
Mm.
Don't rip
New
me a new.
Vegas, huh?
New
Said
Vegas,
Vegas?
because why I say that I had modded that beyond recognition as I threw so many texture mods and mesh mods and all that, and then I stuck some weapon mods and stuff on there, and after that, I modded it so that I could play Fallout 3 and New Vegas in the same game.
No, that's so cool.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
then
Wait.
so after Watch Dogs, the worst part about pre-ordering Watch Dogs was my laptop couldn't run the game.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Oh. Well.
And the game came out a month or two before I built my first PC in the summer of my 6th grade, which was, so I was about 12, 11 or 12 at this point. I think 12, maybe 13. Definitely, yeah, 12.
Wow.
And I had built my first gaming PC at that point. And I
So
could
you know what's
finally
really
play Watch
sad?
Dogs.
Wait,
And
Lightning.
then I boot up Skyrim
Yeah.
as a benchmark. And it wasn't, I was getting like 15 FPS for some reason, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I like cry because it's not fucking working the way I wanted it to. I'm not ashamed of that. I don't care. But you build something like that. You put $1,000 or whatever into a thing like that. You expect it to work really well, and it did.
Right.
So you
yes.
can understand why I'm upset.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was getting 15 and 20 FPS, I didn't have the CPU heatsink properly secured. Because it was the Intel base heatsink, and I didn't figure out how to get it in properly. I just stuck it on the CPU without locking it into the motherboard or anything, thinking it would be fine.
Oh. So you
Oh.
bottlenecked everything.
I bottlenecked everything because the CPU couldn't clock high enough because of the heat.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Wait, Lightning. I have a question. What's your Steam name?
Steam name? Just Lightning Wing. I changed it, but
Okay.
there's so many people using the same name that it'd be better off just you giving
No,
me
because
the name.
no. Thing is, issue is, I have a friend called Lightning Thief 10, and yours and his voice sound pretty much identical.
Oh.
I'm like, because I've never spoken to this guy outside, because I met him on GTA. This was just a random person I met on GTA.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to play GTA. My parents won't let
Oh.
me, so it's definitely not me.
It's not you then, because your voices are like scarily similar. I'm like, wait, is it him?
No, he was telling me the other day. Actually, when I talked about this podcast, I'm not doing it in this one, obviously, but we talked about in the future, if we're comfortable with it, we could all just play a game together at the same time that we do the podcast. And I decided, well, for the first round, I'd like to not do that just as a test, because I don't know if we're too into the game and we start talking about, oh, look what I just did in the game, and you guys wouldn't be able to see it because I wouldn't be recording the game at the same time. But I don't know.
You could join a multiplayer game, for example, the Crew or GTA or whatever, and fuck around in there.
Right.
Mess with each other in there while having a chat.
An interesting
Right, and-
idea if we were to do that is you could have each of us record our gameplay and then set it up into like a split screen format.
Or the 4 things. But that would
Yeah,
take
sounds
forever
like
to
a
like
good
send
idea.
it to you, though. Because that would take that would
Yeah.
take like a million years to send. Because it would be like a
that's
massive
true.
file.
Yeah, that's true. It would.
'Cause
So screw that idea.
For me, like
Yeah.
for
No.
me, right now, because when I render a video, when I'm uploading a video, I render a video in like 30 to 40 megabit rendering sort of bitrate, and
Yeah.
uploading a 3-minute video takes me half an hour.
Holy cow.
A 3-minute video is like a gig. No, not 3 minutes. Sorry, 7-minute video.
So then
Yeah.
I was finally able to figure it out, and I attached the heatsink properly, and I was finally able to play Skyrim at 500 FPS or something crazy because of how
Wow.
old it was at that point.
You were saying, Don, that you don't play
What?
Skyrim, or you never played
I've
Skyrim.
never played Skyrim. Don't hate.
You know-
I've never played Skyrim.
No. And I'll tell you, I tell this to everybody that says that. I have not either. And my brother hates that because it's one of his favorite games.
Oh,
And the problem for me was I had just finished playing Far Cry 3 and I jumped into Skyrim. And if you played Far Cry 3, that is one of the most vibrant games that I've ever played in my entire life.
Skyrim's
It
big
has
grim.
an excellent color palette. And then I went over to Skyrim and Fallout, and I felt like I was playing 50 Shades of Grey, the video game.
Oh my
Yes,
Like,
god!
it's...
because it's very great. Oh, don't bring that up, because that's gonna be in my head now for the rest of the night. Jesus.
Do not compare.
Don't compare anything to 50 Shades. Nothing.
Because it's like I know the both Fallout and Skyrim are a bit grayish, and they don't have that vibrancy. But
Right.
Fallout is very understandable because of the setting, though.
Yeah, nuclear
I-
apocalypse.
yeah,
Oh, and I give it its due for that. But Skyrim, because it's the same engine, I just...
And
It's
the
not.
game-
It's not too
the game-
grim.
it's what I feel is kind of overwhelming because it perhaps because it doesn't have all that scripted cutscenes and all that most games have nowadays. It really at least I have Skyrim. I haven't played it yet. It's on my huge backlog, but I've played Fallout 3, and it felt overwhelming. It's like you were living the apocalypse back then. It was, yeah, like exploring an abandoned building and everything. I believe Skyrim will be the same. So I'll have to like take a whole month to play the game properly, explore every nook and cranny because it's so huge. At least Fallout was. So do not spoil anything for me, please.
Fallout 4.
You know what? If you have avoided spoilers for a game for nearly 5 years, you deserve to go in completely unspoiled.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, it's because my backlog is pretty big because of my complete allegiance to the PC right now because I've rebought a lot of games and I'm playing them again properly.
See, I have like 330 some odd games
Yeah,
on Steam, and I've been at least trying to play all of them. Like, not all the way through. Like, if I hate them, I'll just stop. But at least jump into the game and see how it is, you know? Because I don't want to be one of those guys, and it's everybody, literally everybody, who has 1,000 games and has not played any of them.
Oh no, I'm
You know?
not like that.
It's so easy to do that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do that. But I just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, and besides, what's the point of buying a game if it isn't for playing it, right?
Right. You know.
Every game I played, I have on my Steam account. I play or I will be playing it. Unless it was a giveaway because I collect Steam cards. Those games, there was this case where I get a giveaway and the game actually interests me and I play it all the way through. I get all the achievements and stuff. But most of them, the games that are uncompleted on my Steam account, it's because it was either giveaways or I don't have any interest in playing them. But
Right.
when I buy a game, it's because it interests me and I want to play it.
When I was first new to PC, actually, I'll go ahead and just tell my story because I haven't told you guys how long yet.
Yeah.
I got into PC gaming right after high school, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I was a console peasant. I straight up was the guy who said console gaming is the best, Xbox 360, and my friend played on PC, and I told him that the graphics are terrible. The graphics were worse on his games than Call of Duty Zombies on my iPod. And that's because he was playing the old Battlefield 1942, and he would play Civ 4 and Civ 3. Those were the games he likes. But those are not the games I was into, being the gamer I was. I was into Halo, and I was into, because I had the 360, I was into Red Dead Redemption, and that's what I wanted to play. And so, I mean, I was a proper console peasant, and every time I went over to his house and he would show me his games, he would try to tell me, look, I modded this in here, or look, and he had this Legend of Zelda stuff in his games. I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't care. Your game is ugly. It doesn't appeal to me. And PC gaming is pretty much the worthless side of gaming. It's fine that you do it. It's just not my thing. But it was after a friend of mine, he started showing me how Skyrim looked on his PC, and he started showing me other stuff, and I started going, wow, that's weird. PC does have pretty good graphics. And then I found Primal Carnage. And I don't know if you guys have seen that game. It's basically like Call of Duty, except one team is dinosaurs. And the graphics were...
So evolved but good? Or was it still bad?
No, it was good. It was good. It was really, really, really nice. And it's dead now. The community's pretty much gone because they screwed it up. But I got that game, and I got it on my laptop, and it played at like 15 to 30 FPS, but it still made me really happy because at the time I didn't know what the difference was. I thought it was lag, I didn't know what frame rate was. But yeah, it was after that I started finding Humble Bundles, and I started just accumulating, I think I had up to 60 games before I even had a PC. And I knew it was time to switch, and I did. And I switched to PC.
Oh, wow.
And I have a ton of games through Humble Bundle that I just know I'll never play. Like this football, what is it? Dead Bowl or something like that? I don't remember. But I'll never play it. But
yeah, one of the things that peasants really dislike, and they, at least on my experience, they really dislike the Steam sales and the prices we get on PC, and the amount of places where we can buy games, and because they're tied to that strict $70 per game.
It's funny when you hear them cry. It's not fair. They don't get to play they don't get to pay for online. I just love to hear that. Just all the whining. I just love it. It's music to my ears. I'm like, son of a bitch.
It's okay. Well, the thing for me, because I can look back, being as the type of gamer I was, and I have no problems admitting who I was, and I'm very ashamed at that kind of personality. But I remember looking back, and it was Star Wars Battlefront 2, one of my absolute favorite games. I looked on Steam one day, and there was a weekend sale. It was $2.50, and I was like, what? This has to be like some sort of rare miracle. There's no way, because games do not go on sale this cheap. And I picked it up. Even though I had promised myself the only game I ever wanted was Primal Carnage. I picked it up. And then it kept happening, and I was like, why are all these games so cheap? I don't understand what's going on here. And then the summer sale.
Oh, yeah.
You have no idea. I got into PC gaming when the summer sale hit, and I saw all these games. I was like, these games are normally $60.
Yeah.
I need them now. This is not going to happen again. I know for a fact this is not going to happen again because of that mindset. Games are not that cheap.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing games online, and I was like, wait, how am I playing this game for free?
Yeah.
How am I playing? Who's paying for this?
Yeah, exactly.
And my friend's like, no. Microsoft doesn't need that money to keep their servers running. They just do it to milk you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? They do?
It was blatantly obvious. It was blatantly obvious because the PS3 came out. There was no paid online. Online was free. On the on the 360, but you had to pay. And I think Sony saw that it still worked. People were still willing to pay. That they made the PS4 paid for online.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Not to mention,
go on.
Not to mention the whole. You pay this monthly fee and you get all these amazing games for free every month.
They're not free. You stop paying, you lose the games.
For free.
You stop paying, you lose the game. I'm like, what's the point?
I love that when it's the exact same thing. If someone were to say, hey, $50 a year, if you give me $50 a year, I'll come to your house and give you free food. This is for the needy, of course. I'll give you free food. It's like, okay, free food. What are you talking about? I'm paying you $50 a year. Well, right. If I didn't pay that $50 a year, would I still get the free food? No. Well, then how the hell is it free? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
$50 a year for free food every day is kind of a good deal.
That is.
That sentence. That sentence doesn't make sense. Free and $50 doesn't. They don't. Not meant to be the same.
they just don't go hand in hand. I don't know. It's like.
But it's such a strong argument that they use.
Yeah.
Like I feel.
Yeah.
I don't.
If I were still a PC or a console gamer, I'd be using it too, and that makes me so sad because I think PC gaming really made me an objective person, which is a weird way to like transition from that, because it's like, oh, whatever, it's a platform. But like, if I never went to PC, I'm very vocal about, at least I was, about my opinions and how I felt. I thought they were fact. And I would have been that guy. I would have been that guy who would claim that 30 FPS and 60 FPS are the exact same thing. I would have claimed that resolutions don't mean anything. And I would have claimed that the same thing. I'm getting free games for $50 a month. I would have done it. I know for a fact I would have. And it kind of makes me sad that I know I would have been that person.
Thing is, one more thing that makes PC more appealing is the audience, like the player base, is a lot more mature than the 12-year-olds you run into on Xbox Live and PSN.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I like that. I like on Call of Duty on the Xbox, on the PS4. I mute all game chat. I'm like, I'm not dealing with your shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Game chat is just completely muted. On the PC, I can just talk to people. They're normal human beings. They don't shit talk, none of that. And
yeah, not to mention, we're more vocal and. Remember all that modding stuff issue that happened with Steam not long ago, where people showed how displeased they were.
The paid mods thing, yeah.
The paid mods thing, yeah.
Yeah. That got taken down like that. Just immediately down.
I feel like that wouldn't have been such a big deal had they done that correctly. But continue.
I feel like the whole paid mods thing would be fine if it was a new IP, but if you did it for Skyrim. You did it for an existing IP that has had free mods for years. There was no way that was going to end well.
Yeah, and even so, I don't think it doesn't sit well because people like to help people that make mods and stuff as long as everyone keeps having access to them. So it doesn't feel kind of. It's like it's that peasant mindset because take my money, just take it.
Right. And we don't like feeling that way because a reason that at least a huge reason I switched was as soon as I knew that online was free, I was there. I mean, I couldn't pay for Xbox Live. I was a very, very poor family, and there was no way I was going to convince my parents that $50 a year or however much it was to play online with my friends. I mean, I was missing out on a key aspect of gaming, but I couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And when I found out that it was free on PC, I mean, it was a huge thing that drove me. And it's just one of those things that you sit there and you think, like, if some Valve or EA or anyone started to say, hey, $20 a month and you can play games with your friends.
EA have done that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know how it turned out.
The Origin Access thing. Jesus Christ, that ended horribly.
Exactly. You know how it turned out. I mean, if I were on console and I were, part of a family that could have afforded it, and I had become accustomed to it, I would have been fine with that. Mm-hmm. But you can't do that when you're so used to. I mean, we'll speak up about it. I wouldn't have. I would not have said anything if they said, "Hey, we're gonna make, things on PC cost money that were normally free."
Thing is,
in that mindset, I wouldn't have done anything.
Exactly.
Issue is on PC, fanboys aren't really a thing. Console fanboys.
Well, they don't have anyone to be a fanboy for.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah.
On console, the fanboys overshadow the people who actually mean something.
Mm-hmm.
So then the companies don't hear that. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, if you notice, it's like there's some kind of religious zealots like protecting their. Yeah,
I'm not saying PC has fanboys. You get the Nvidia fanboys, you get your AMD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You get those fanboys, but you don't get like as many as console. It hurts my mind every single time. I'm like, why?
Yeah, and that reminds me back when the PS4 was announced. Back when I was a Sony peasant, well, semi-peasant because I played on both PC and console.
You disliked Xbox. Is what you meant.
Yeah, because they charged monthly to play
for the online. I can agree because I used to do that. I used to hate Xbox for that reason.
Yeah, that was the main reason because I actually like the Xbox gamepad. I use it to play on my couch when I plug my PC to my TV, so it's good. But when Sony stated that they were starting to charge monthly as well, with all that jargon regarding that better servers, better connections, free games, well, free paid games.
Prepaid
Um,
games.
Right.
it was like okay, Sony, that's the second nail in your coffin. The first one being the lack of compatibility with their games, because
Right.
it was something I really liked about Sony was that uh, PS2 ran PS1 games at the
Oh
start.
yeah,
The first
PS3
PS2
ran.
ran both, and it ran Linux because, well, I'm a Linux user, as you know.
Yeah.
I love that idea, and then after a firmware update, they disabled the Linux operating system, and when my first PS3 died, it was no longer the second one was no longer compatible with PS2 games. Oh wait, it was, but you had to pay for it.
Oh,
They
wow. You
started.
PS.
They blocked the emulator on the console, and
Oh,
they launched their PS2 Classics line, where you rebought the game you already owned on disc. Just
wow.
did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Well, now you know. One more.
Or
One more.
if you put a PS3 disc into the PS4, it knows it's a PS3 disc.
Yeah, it probably
You
can.
get a pop up saying this is a disc for a PlayStation 3. It's not compatible.
Yeah.
Wait, so if it can recognize it as a PS3 disc, I don't really understand why it
No,
can't
the thing
just
is, I
play
think
it.
I think it's because it's not easy to emulate. You need something much
Yeah.
more powerful than the stock one to emulate it, and then PS4 really isn't.
Yeah, the only other way that PS4 could run PS3 games was if it had a cell processor in the board,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I wouldn't see it happening. But PS3 had PS2 hardware. That's why it
Yeah.
ran PS2 games so perfectly. So
But do you know about the PlayStation Now thing that you could play old PS2, PS3 games on PS4, but you had to pay for them? You pay a monthly fee and you can pay
yeah,
them.
but it's
Yeah.
it's like OnLive, right? It's
Huh?
You remember OnLive, that streaming service?
I have no idea.
Well, it's like this. You pay a monthly fee and you can play every game you like, but streamed from their servers. You
Oh.
don't install anything, and it's that thing I was saying earlier ago about you don't owning anything. You just
Yeah.
buy the
Rights
time
to
you
play.
play it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I find that really unappealing. It's like I think it's like some sort of digital slavery to me. It's
So, okay, what do you, because this topic has been brought up a couple times before, what do you think about not technically owning your PC games? What do you think about perhaps the possibility that one day we would?
well, that's
I
some
don't
of,
think we will, because
yeah, I think
optical media is kind of dying out at this point, and with the size of like current PC games, GTA 62 gigs. That's a triple layer.
Right.
That's a triple layer Blu-ray or quad layer Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of like, and people don't really. None of like I don't have a drive. I don't have a CD drive in my PC. I have an external one that's barely a DVD writer drive. So a lot of people don't have drives, so I don't think it'll be a massive thing for at least a while. At least no,
Right.
for like it won't be a massive thing. Period. Not for why it won't be a massive period. Because a lot of people don't have optical drives, and if they make physical copies, it's not really going to sell.
I'm not talking about physical copies.
Then
I'm talking about your media, something that you purchase through whatever, Valve, an online key store, GOG.
it's yours. You mean like, belongs to you.
Yeah,
But then
you own that.
But then the thing is, how this works, you can, for example, like if I switch to another, if I go to my friend's house, I can log into my Steam account and I can just download all my games again on his computer, then play on that.
That's one of one of Steam's strong points.
Yeah.
But I think what Barry is trying to say is when this evolves, because we see companies going that direction, like PlayStation Now and that thing EA tried to pull with the Vault thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
You pay a monthly fee. You don't own anything. Just leave everything to us and keep paying. Keep paying
Yeah.
it. It's like imagine there's this game you really like, and you pay it for like 1 year, one whole year. After the end of the year, you end up paying a lot more than you would pay if you bought the game and kept it forever, like you do on Steam.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I think companies like GOG are important because you buy a game, you download the DRM-free installer, and it's yours forever in the right sense of the word. You can put it on a external hard drive. You can install it on multiple PCs. You can do whatever you want
Yeah.
with it.
True.
Right.
On Steam, it's similar, but you have that digital online. You have the online.
You need your account to play. You need to be logged in. You need internet connection to play. You need to be logged into your account with the connection to play.
Exactly, and okay, I'm good with that because it lets my machine it lets my machine evolve. When I build a new PC, the games will
Yeah.
still be there. I can still
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
And if Steam keeps that, well, I know it's not entirely up to Steam, but if that model stays as standard, I'm okay with it. But if it evolves to streaming, I am kind of
That-
worried about it.
That thing is, streaming, it will become a thing for the people who really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
People who actually care, who want to have a PC, they will still have PCs. You will still have Steam. The streaming, like Nvidia's little streaming, whatever that is, I don't know what it's
The
called.
Shield.
Yeah,
No,
Shield.
not the Shield. Oh,
No,
is it
no,
the Shield? Yeah, the Shield.
Yeah, Shield.
No,
does that.
Nvidia. Is it Shadowplay? Is it?
No.
No, Shadowplay is the recording.
Shield.
Oh, Shield. Yeah, the
yeah,
Shield
Shield.
streaming thing. You can stream from Nvidia's HQ or whatever. You can stream
Yeah, yeah.
whatever game you want. That
see-
That might replace consoles at one point because the quality is a lot better. You're paying a lot less.
True, but
I see that.
The more casual guys would just be like, yeah, I don't mind paying $200 and $20 a month. Is it $20 a month? Is it
Yeah.
$20?
No, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, because
Well,
it's cheaper and you get a much better quality of games, and you don't
Right.
have to upgrade the hardware. Nvidia does that for you.
hmm
What you're paying for is your internet connection, and then that console you're paying for once. That's it.
yeah, but it doesn't stop worrying me about the amount of rights we keep losing with each generation. Well,
True.
there are no generations.
The
PC, but,
issue is there's not enough people that care. Like people like us, we obviously care, but then the majority don't care enough to actually be bothered to go against this. That is the problem.
They might not be. They might not want to be bothered in making machines, building them, upgrading them, and all that. But I think
Yeah.
they will. At least I know that there might be people that will not take that streaming thing so well because because most
Go on.
peasants. Well, they're
Peasants.
peasants. Most peasants.
Use the word peasant like it's nothing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's like, well, I have a lot of friends that are console players, and when they hear me, they will stake me and burn me alive. But
I like no, because it's funny. It doesn't bother me when someone calls me an elitist, and it doesn't bother my friends when I call them peasants as a joke. And it's just funny because in my videos I do say that there's a huge difference between someone who plays on PC, and someone who plays on console, and then being a peasant and elitist. And I love how you're just throwing it around because I'm like, I know exactly how you
thing
feel
is, on
about
PC
it.
you still get peasants, so the Alienware and the Razer guys.
oh yeah, totally. But
Oh yeah,
but
Like Razer, like the one good thing Razer makes that I can agree with are the keyboards. I love Razer's keyboard.
Razer is the Apple of PC peripherals, in my
Yes.
opinion.
No, but the thing is, their keyboards are actually good. The Razer keyboard
Yeah,
lineup
they
is
are.
actually good, but everything else, go for something else, please, because you get much
yeah. I
better.
have.
yeah.
You have
I have the Chroma.
You have the Black Widow Chroma, yeah? That's a brilliant
I
keyboard. I
love my
love that
Chroma.
keyboard.
Mhm.
I've got the Corsair K70, and I really like it.
Oh, yes.
I
think
don't
that's-
have the RGB version or anything, but I
I-
really like the Cherry MX boost I've got on it and everything.
I changed my keyboard thing with I tried the Logitech G910, the Roamer G switch thing, and it's okay. To be honest, not that bad, but I still prefer a Cherry MX clicky one.
Real
This
quick.
is quite.
So apparently, there's a new Battlefront coming out in Star Wars. A new Star Wars Battlefront game coming out in 2017, and after that, for the next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be a new Star Wars game every single year.
No.
Oh, they're gonna milk. They're gonna do what Star Wars is gonna be COD.
It is.
Oh no.
Star Wars is gonna turn into Call of Duty.
Now, it is not a
The
new
newest
Battlefront
Assassin's Creed.
game every year. It's just a new Star Wars game, so it's not going to be just first
You know what,
person
though?
shooters all over
You
the
know what
place.
though? With Dice's track record, there might be one of them that's actually good.
Yeah.
And I might pick it up. Like
I don't
maybe it'll
think
be
it's
later
going-
down the line.
From what I'm reading, it's not going to be just DICE making these.
Crap.
Uh-oh.
Or it'll be they're doing what COD did because they have 3 different developers cycling through every 3 years.
Ugh. I'm so scared for that now.
The EA CFO, Blake Jorgensen, said, will most likely have one Star Wars title a year for the next 3 to 4 years, and we'll see Star Wars Battlefront back with bigger and better worlds because now we have the new movies to work off of, not just the historical movies that we used before.
Because there's a new Star Wars movie coming out in another year.
There is a
Well,
Star
everybody's-
Wars. There's also he says we are also working on a Star Wars action game that is part of the Motive team in Canada. Never heard of them. Working on as well as part of the Visceral team, and that's most likely coming in 2018.
I see.
Who's hyped for the new movie?
I am.
Rogue One.
Have you seen? Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
I haven't even watched the last one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna talk about the last one. Let's not spoil it. for this guy.
Don't. I'm gonna watch it this week, hopefully,
Oh, good.
Nah.
because, well, yeah.
No, have fun. It's a great movie.
It's a
Okay.
brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie.
To be honest,
hate
Rogue
that
One
movie.
breaks the canon so much I just can't care for it.
Breaks what?
The Star Wars canon so much that I can't really help but not really care for it at all.
Okay.
Have you
I'll-
seen-
Okay, well, before we get into dangerous territory and spoilers and stuff,
Yeah.
we should
Let's
probably take off. So, Lightning, I guess I've given everyone a chance. Dawn and Dracul have kind of. So, what's one topic? I'd like to get a topic from you, just to make sure that I've covered everybody.
I don't really know what I would have to say. I've kind of just been like throwing some stuff in there every once in a while, like the Star Wars thing and all that.
What's something that you're passionate about? Something that people talk about that bothers you, or something? Anything like that?
I can't really think of much, to be honest. That wouldn't get into the realm of like social justice Tumblr.
Oh God!
Please piss off Tumblr. I would pay you to do that.
Okay, wait, whoa. Hey, you guys have nothing to lose in this. My channel could be taken down by those efforts.
Knowing
Oh,
Tumblr,
you-
knowing
knowing
Tumblr, they
Tumblr.
probably would get it taken
You know-
down.
No, they would.
You know what my favorite thing is? Playing Cards Against Humanity, taking the offensive stuff, putting them on Tumblr. That is fun as shit because of the hate you get. I'm like, yes, I did something right. Oh, it's so fun. I'm like,
I will beat around the bush with it a little bit and say that I'm a little tired of people taking these really, really good causes and turning them into a joke. And I know that some people do it on purpose. Some people do take radical views on things to ruin a cause on purpose. However, it's these people that truly feel
yeah.
that men need to die, that white men in particular need to be evicted from just this world in order for everything to make things right again. And I told this story offline. I'll tell it real quick online. When I was in high school, this kid, he's actually a friend of mine, came up to me and we were talking about black enslavement in world history. And he came up to me and he said, Barry, I want you to know that you enslaved and oppressed me. And I said, no. No. Let me tell you something real quick. If we were to go back in time, I would be in Germany at the time that you guys were being enslaved, firstly. And at that time, my family was actually running away from everything that was going on with Hitler. At least, I mean, it's not at the same era, but that's what my family... So we didn't even enslave Jews. My family doesn't even have a history of enslaving Jews. Secondly, if this were that time, knowing myself right now, I wouldn't want to enslave you. And thirdly, the most likely reason your family was enslaved was because you were sold by slaves to Americans. And that's how a lot of slaves were taken. And the biggest problem is you take someone like this, and I'm not saying that all of these people are like that, but you take someone like this, and they cause issues, because it turns into something where they feel that they're owed something for something that they didn't even go through, which I feel is insulting to those who did actually go through it.
I mean, look at like the early 1900s, where you've got women being oppressed like they are lesser people than men. Before women's rights was fought for and all that.
Right.
And you've got people going around today flaunting about saying, "Oh, you oppressed me." Now, it's
The thing
annoying.
The issue is,
We didn't do shit.
Yeah,
To put it bluntly,
Exactly.
we didn't do anything.
have
the issue.
any of you guys ever did something wrong to a girl, woman? I don't think so. None of our generation did. We got
Good God.
What
What was that?
You went quiet.
who?
Dracul, you went quiet for a second. Then you
Oh,
break Barry's
all right.
ears.
Continue.
I mean, we are not at fault here. It's like women nowadays. Well, at least our generation wants us to pay for the sins of our forefathers. It doesn't make any sense. I've never did anything wrong to a woman, and
Right.
the political correctness it's getting out of hand. It's like, have you actually felt? Well,
In terms of
let me tell you a little story. Back when women were oppressed, they had trouble finding jobs and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, at least I felt it 3 times already. Men are getting discriminated by being men. It was like
Right.
I went to this job interview and everything was okay. They were asking for both men and women, but the ad was fake. They only wanted women, and I was like, okay, so here are my credentials and everything. They're like, oh, very good, but you see, we're only looking for women. And I was like, okay, where can I complain about this? Oh, wait, are there actually men's rights associations or something like that? Because you may think I'm kidding, but I felt this quite a few times already. It's kind of worrying, and there's no laws protecting men nowadays. It's like women think they're oppressed, but the last places I've worked, there were actually more women than men there, and it's like there's no there at least to my as long as I think there are no laws protecting men. Like if you form a company, you can create a women-only company because no one is going to stop you. But if you
Right.
form a company which
Man, only people are going to complain. Yes,
exactly
that is
And
true. That is true.
So where are we in this? So
Thing is, like the feminazis. I'm gonna name them.
Yeah.
They want equal rights, but their definition of equal rights is all the benefits that we have, but with none of the pitfalls.
see the feminazis,
That's
they
what-
aren't
that's what
feminists.
yeah,
they're
they're
not
not
feminists.
They're
they-
misandrists working under the name of feminism.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
anything close to
They
feminism.
give
they're-
they give
Feminism
feminism a bad
wants
name.
equality. They want men
Oppression
to
of
be
men.
lesser.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
That's-
they just want to emasculate all men. to put it simply.
Here's one for you guys. I went to the library, and I see this woman had just parked her car, and I'm walking towards the entrance, and she's almost right behind me. So I grab the door, and I wasn't doing this for any other reason other than I'm just trying to be a kind-hearted person. I open the door for her, and she stops in her tracks and get this disgusting face, and she looks at me and goes, "I don't need your oppression." And then she walks around the other side of the building.
Like,
I do that.
Well, I
friend.
was not gonna take that, like, because that's ridiculous. I ran through the building and opened the door for her on the other side, and said, "Ma'am, I'm trying to be a good person." And she goes, "Well, I'm done," and walks away. And because of me, didn't even go to the library. She got back in her car and left.
the thing,
what?
is, you shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah,
You
did
really
the
should-
It
right
was just
thing.
extreme
You really
radicalism.
shouldn't-
I just
People like that deserve everything that comes their way. You should not feel bad. Do not.
I don't know if I feel that way though. I don't know if I feel, because being the kind of person that I am, I can see where people are coming from. Like I said, when I was a console gamer, I can understand why these console gamers can be angry at people like us, because a lot of us have been a-holes in the past to them. I can see where they're coming from, but I would like to show them that there's a different side of it, and that's why it makes me feel bad.
And
Because I'd like to show some of these people that there's a different side
But
to,
the thing
to,
is,
to
they
human
know
beings.
they know there is a different side. They just don't want to believe it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
A lot of them
because
know.
it's
A lot
too
of
much
them know.
work.
They know that it's too. They don't want. They want to be in their closed-minded little state that they like. We hate everything besides our kind. That's it.
And that's why it kind of hurts me a little bit. And the last part, I don't. What do you guys feel about the pay gap?
There's
Anyone.
no pay gap where I live,
from
so
what I
don't
have
can't
read,
comment.
the pay gap is merely men choosing. This is the things that the research people have done on it doesn't account for. Men choose
Right.
higher paying jobs, which are more dangerous jobs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They work longer hours, and that's the only reason that data exists, is because men choose the higher paying jobs and stuff like that. Yet people still think that they don't take that into account. They think that
Yeah.
it's
Right.
they
There's
automatically
also-
assume that it's men and women in the same job. It's not.
It's not exactly. That's true.
It's
'Cause-
overall
'cause
wages.
if you
overall
look at the
salaries.
if you look at the like in the same position, a man and a woman, they pretty much earn the same amount of money.
Yeah, exactly, and that brings the. Let me add this regarding heavy work like working in vineyards, for example.
Let's say construction or something like that. Yeah.
Women. Well, there's a reason, because there are women and men, right? They're different, physically at least. Well, having the same rights doesn't mean people are all the same physically, intellectually, and so on. It's like men are naturally more stronger physically, so it's only natural we do the harder works, the heavy lifting and stuff like that. And I think it's fair we get a little better paying off that, because I would have absolutely no problem if I did any kind of lighter work and be paid the same amount as women. You should get paid
Right.
accordingly to what you do. It's like going to the army. Women nowadays have the same right as men to serve in the army, but as far as I'm concerned, they do not have the same physical trials that men have, because they just can't take it. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are plenty of women out there that can outmatch many men, but they're very rare. It's not.
And
it's not
Speaking
a
of the
rule.
army, you've got people on Tumblr that are complaining, these so-called feminists, that women will have to register for the draft in the future. They're complaining about that. And it's like,
Oh,
well, this is what you
So
want.
you wanted
wanted
this. Why you
equality.
complaining?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's equality.
And then another thing is, you've got people going into gender studies and then coming out and complaining that there is a lack of female presence in STEM courses, yet they could have chosen to make a difference in that terms instead of going and doing stupid gender studies.
it really is annoying, because you get a lot of these people, and I've had people on two sides of the coin. I don't necessarily agree with everything that's being said here, obviously, but I mean, we all have our different opinions on all of it. But there was this woman that I was talking to, and she was talking about Firstly, the pay gap. And she said, I feel that women don't get paid as much. And I said, well, the same thing. When you look at it, would you be a construction worker? And she said, well, no. And I was like, does it make sense that construction workers make more money? And she goes, well, obviously, they're doing life-threatening work. They could potentially kill themselves doing that job. So yes, I understand. And I said, okay, so now an actress, like on stage actress, do you think she should make as much? She goes, well, no. And I said, well, also, if you were a construction worker and I was a construction worker, do you think you would be able to lift more? Do you think you would be able to carry on further throughout the day? And she goes, honestly, I don't know. I haven't tested us together, but looking at you and looking at me, I'd say no. I think you'd be able to do more work. And I was like, should I be paid more for that? And she goes, well, absolutely. And I said, now if a woman were to do more work than me, should she? And she goes, absolutely. And I said, that's how I feel. That is exactly right there how I feel.
Bang.
When it comes to the pay gap, it's what you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
And then she said, obviously men and women are different. And I love when women say that, because for some reason recently a lot of feminists are saying that men and women physically are not equal. Or are equal, are equal.
Wait,
And
is that
Yeah.
true? Let me go check in the mirror.
In no way, shape, or form are we equal.
we're not bodily, physically.
Yeah.
We're made differently. And don't get me wrong, I will never deny when a woman is stronger than me.
Yeah.
I've met them.
Yeah.
There are some of them that will take me down, and oh, it's hot when they do. Like,
I saw that going a mile away.
but like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some women that could easily take me, and there's some women that I could easily, and it's how we're made person to person,
Exactly.
not gender by gender,
Yeah, it all depends on the
And
person.
when it came to what she was saying, she was Asian, which, by the way, they make more money on average for certain jobs than Americans do.
Yes, that's
White people.
that is very true.
Which when you complain about a pay gap, you need to take into consideration race, nationality, gender, and it all factors in. And some of us get screwed harder than others. And I know that in certain areas, no, it's not absolutely equal. And I know that, and I will not say that it is until the day that it actually is. But I don't think it can be, based on the parameters of you as an individual. That's the only issue.
Another thing is these feminists are taking things that people have said online and showing it to their employers and getting them intentionally fired because
Right!
they have simply
Right!
shared an opinion.
And even a factual one.
Uh,
Do you guys know who Thunderfoot is?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Thunderfoot,
Philip.
very, very smart individual. I love watching his content, and I really, really wish that more people would support him, because I'd like to see more videos with the stuff that he wants to
He
implement.
tore
But-
apart Anita Sarkeesian. I love that series. He ripped her a new one. I love that series. Holy.
Right. But the issue with that series, and it's why it would be an issue for us to talk about it here, which I'm letting it slide anyway, is that all the backlash that he gets is from these people who don't care regardless of what she says,
Yeah.
and will follow it.
That is-
And they tried to get him fired, just like Lightning just said. They tried hard to get him fired from his job because he simply said that women and men are physically not equal. And he never said that men were physically advanced or physically superior. He simply said they're not physically
See,
equal.
you can't even really say that and have it be 100% true. You can't just say men and women are physically not equal. You can't compare you can't compare one person to another and call them considerably physically equal.
Yeah,
There's no
because
such thing as physical
No,
equality.
because every person is unique. It's all up to the individual in the end.
Right.
You just can't pick two people and say, look, they're exactly the same. No, they're not. Even between men, it's like there's not even twins are exactly equal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not
Yep.
not 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Not
Yeah.
even, yeah.
They can have different personalities, different traits.
Yeah.
They can be so very different. One can imagine one is a musician, another one is a construction worker, completely different.
Right.
And even then, the lifestyle choices each twin chooses can have vast differences on how they are physically, like how much weight they can carry and all that.
Yeah.
Right, because one could be an avid hiker, and one could be one of those guys who sits at home and plays video games.
Like
Those
us.
little idiots who do that, like me. Yeah, those those weak morons. No, but yeah, I mean, in a way, it affects us all. And you know, when people, because my brother and I, my younger brother has way more muscle than I do. And a lot of people comment on that, and most people are like, so who's the older? And they always pick my brother as the older. And it kind of makes me sad, but I also say, you look like an old man, I look like a young kid. What sucks is most of that has to do with the H. pylori when it hit me, and I lost all my muscle and all that. I mean, a lot of that has to do with that. Otherwise, I'd look, more like him. But yeah, certain unexpected things, too, can hit you as well. Anyone could come down with a disease like what I had and just totally destroy what you earned throughout your entire life. Thank you very much. And it can just change everything about you. I used to run every day. I used to work out. I used to play sports all the time. And, after that, my life changed. It hurt to go outside and do those things. It hurt me. And every time I do go play football now, I remember how fun it is, but I also remember back to the pain that I would used to go through when I would do it. So it's one of those mental things. I don't want to go out and do it a ton anymore. I'd like to get back into it, I will say. But it a lot of things can affect it, and I for whatever reason that went about like the H. pylori, but I was just trying to, two different people who used to look the exact same, my brother and I. One small thing can change that, and he and I are not physically equal. We never were. I used to be a lot stronger than that kid. I can't do it anymore. I'm not. But it's not because of any reason. It's not because our genders are different. We're both the same. And if I had a sister, right now I'd probably be weaker than she is. It's person to person, like we were saying this entire time. And that's why I hate this feminist argument. Because you listen to it and you can't take it seriously as much as you'd like to say this is a good cause. For some people it is. And for me it used to be. But you ruin it. Stop. You ruin it.
Yeah, they're
And the last part that kills me, and I'm sorry, I'm going on for a long time,
no worries.
is I've said before that one day feminism is going to reach a point where we're done with it. And we can either revolt in a nice way, or we could even start a war. I don't know how serious it's going to get. I don't think it's going to get that serious, but who knows? We're human beings and we have the potential for anything. And one day all this is going to be long gone in the future. However, any man is going to go to any woman, just like any woman can go to any man today, or any black guy can go to any white guy and say, you oppress me. And I do not want the power to do that. I don't want to use that because I know so many people who will. And I hate that this is a vicious circle that we will utilize. I hate that. I hate that about humans. And I just know we'll abuse it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth. Yeah,
It's
is.
human nature. You find a loophole, you just abuse it until you've taken it way too far.
Right. But you know who I admire? You want to know one nation I admire?
Go on.
Jews.
Why?
They've been oppressed
Yes.
since God's beginning.
And they don't say
They've been
shit.
oppressed. And no, not a single one of them.
They
Not
don't
a single one of them have come up to me and said, like, you oppressed me. Yeah, I did. I'm German, you effer. I did. There's nothing you can do about it. They don't do it.
Well, at least
Respect.
since I'm the only European, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Germans, it's like they.
Be careful what you say here. No, I'm messing around.
I have nothing against the Germans. I kind of like their culture, and I speak a little German too, so we're cool.
Good.
And then, but from what I see, they are so tame nowadays because they it's like when they talk to people, it's like they're thinking, oh, this one thinks I'm a Nazi. It's like they
Right.
live in constant fear, and it's like they're paralyzed because they're afraid to do something because of them getting labeled as Nazis. And
Right.
it's like, I mean,
Those subtle apologies that they put on, those subtle apologies that they just keep
yeah,
having to put into every
it's
sentence.
wrong. The people nowadays, they don't have anything to do. They have nothing to do what their grandfathers did. It's wrong. It's now so
Yeah, there was actually.
stressed. It's like, I mean,
Uh,
come on, the communists killed a lot more people, and I mean a lot compared
Yeah.
to the Nazis. And and I see people with shirts with shirts with Che Guevara's face, with
Yeah.
the hammer. It's like, I mean, come on, it's almost as bad as using the Nazi symbol, the swastika. It's like, come on, people, wake up. They're actually worse. They're actually worse. And well, and not to mention my country is being run by those guys.
No, and I had a foreign exchange girl at my school. She was from Germany, and I got into a conversation with her, and we were talking no issue. I didn't even think of that. Like, none of that even popped into my head. And I said, "How do you like America?" And she said, "It's great. I love the culture here," which is funny to hear when someone comes to your area and they say, "I love the culture." It's like, you love hamburger? Like, that's all we do. I don't know what you want.
You just think to yourself, wait, we have culture?
I know,
Because it's so
but
second nature and it's so normal to you that you can't really consider it foreign.
right, right. But she was sitting there telling me all that, and I said something, and for some reason she got really quiet, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm just a little worried about how people see me." And this was weird because she was really pretty. So I was like, "What do you even mean by that?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I thought maybe because she was in high school, she was one of those girls who like focus on her looks or something. That's exactly where my mind went. And I was like, "What do you mean by this?" And she goes, "Well, I'm German." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I know that." And then she goes, "The Holocaust?" I was like, "Wait, what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't know why you're. Wait, no, don't stress out about that here.
Yeah, see,
Nobody here worries about that. No, nobody. And if anybody does, they're a-holes. Do not listen to them,
They're
okay?
not worth your time.
Because
yeah,
I'm German too, and people have joked to me about that. I'm not like from there, but look, it's a joke when people do that, and they're being a-holes. Just don't even listen to them. But like some people actually like that. That's on their mind constantly when they go to a different country or they see someone that in the past that they've oppressed. But me being a white person, maybe it's because of my heritage. I don't look at any black people or any women and think, God, what an a-hole I was, you know? And maybe it's because, you know, my heritage was so deeply ingrained that I was in Germany throughout that entire fiasco. But I don't know, you know, it's like I've gotten over it. Why can't you? You know?
yeah. It's hard to understand that mindset. It's why people. I think maybe it's people trying to get notoriety or something, or trying to play the little guy role. I don't know. It's weird, but they actually manage to make people feel bad about themselves.
They do, and it's terrible that they can do it
It's
because
just a tactic that they use. It's just guilt tripping people to make them fall into their hands and do what they want.
right. And I use the same tactics to try to get you guys to subscribe to me, don't I? No, but like, it's just super sad. It really is super sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least as of right now.
Yeah.
As of right
As
now.
of right now. It'll come to a point when everyone's sick and tired of this bullshit and people are just not going to give a shit.
This similar thing happened to me in I was at work one day, and this kid started talking about how the government was terrible. And I hate these conversations because back in the day you think about, okay, the government was terrible. Well, what did we do? Well, we threw tea in this, you know, in the harbor. We did something about it. So I hate when people just talk about it and they're like, God, I wish everything would change. And the way that they were speaking, they were like thinking that their opinions when they were talking to each other actually meant something and actually did something. And I was sitting there quietly trying to ignore it. And one of them just kept saying that one day, you know, all of us are going to go to war, and the gangs and the police, they're going to go to war with each other, and we're all going to just be in the midst of that, and we're all going to die, and all this crap. And I slammed my hand on the table, and I said, Thomas, look, You talking about this is not going to solve anything. How about this? How about you and me tomorrow? We're going to go to City Hall and we're going to change something. Are you ready? Do you have your guns? Do you have your weapons? We're going to change the government tomorrow. Are you ready? And he just kind of got really silent. And I was like, yeah, that's right. You have something better to do, don't you? You got to go to work. You got a family to feed. Yeah, you're not going to solve anything just by sitting here talking about it. I got so mad at him and I look back on it, I feel like it was no reason. I shouldn't have got so upset. But it just bothers me when people do that because it's the same exact thing. You talking about this is only causing more issues. If you want to do something about it, do something about it. But don't just cause drama. It's just so annoying. And a stable-minded individual would sit there and look at this and actually get upset. Someone like me, I normally never get upset.
Normally, what I do, like, if someone starts, I'm like, nope, I am not interested. Walk right the fuck away. Just walk away. I am not interested.
I've actually never really had a situation like that, now that I think about it.
Well, that usually happens to me when I discuss politics, and the argument I use is often, so you voted for them, so why do you keep complaining? Just vote on someone else.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Do you guys actually bother with elections?
I'm too
I
young.
don't. I don't give two shits. I'm just like, I'm going to sit in my man cave and do my thing. I don't care what happens.
I'm far too young, and I'm pretty sure that like American voting doesn't really do much in the long run, anyways. Because if you look at the way America's voting system is set up, you kind of start to realize that like the whole thing with just the electoral colleges, your vote doesn't really count for much of anything.
Did you guys actually see my video on that? Did you guys watch that video?
Which
I
one
did
was
not. I must have been before I subscribed.
I have a video.
How badly do you think the world will end if and when Trump becomes president?
I don't
I
at
don't
all
think
that the
anything
world's
will
gonna
really
end.
happen.
Nothing's gonna
Yeah,
change.
the world
I've said that. Okay,
but we're all going to die anyway.
if you guys go, you look on my channel. I have one called "We Don't Need a President Anymore," something like that. I don't think we need a president
I
anymore.
think I've seen it.
Right, and I talk about this exact same thing, and I'll go over it a little bit, but I essentially say, I don't feel my vote counts. If it does count, it doesn't do anything. I never picked those people that are up there. I never decided that Trump was or Clinton. You know, I never said, hey, I think they'd be a great president. I didn't put them up there. I just had to vote for them. And even in the long run, it doesn't matter who in the election gets to be president. Nothing's going to change. It's just a bunch of empty promises. And really, no matter who becomes the president, I don't care because it's not going to change the world. It's not going to destroy the world at all. Nothing's going to happen.
The president doesn't do much. It's all the Senate, pretty much, for the most part. It's all Congress.
Yeah,
from what I can tell.
Yeah, the president. Well, yeah, it's mostly a decorative. It's just a
I have a story to share after this. Lord.
But you in the U.S., at least your democracy is a little more advanced than ours here in Portugal, at least, because Barry was talking about not choosing who's going to be the president, but we don't even get to choose who's going to be a senator. Well, we don't have senators here. It's like, it's a parliament, but those good for nothing.
Right. The delegates, right.
So you see those big billboards with people supposedly representing our city, and then I asked someone, so did you vote on that guy to be there on that billboard? No, I haven't. Me neither. So who put them there? I mean, sometimes, well, we are exposed a lot to your media over here, and we get to know how your democracy works, and it's still way better than ours. I mean, come on, we have the Socialist Party and the Communist Party governing over here. It's like, and they weren't even elected. They weren't elected. They were like, let's see, well, one party won, and they weren't happy about it, so they went to the president, and no, the left wing is the majority, so we want to rule, and the president, because he was ending his term, gave them the power.
And the thing is, I find it extremely hard find politicians and stuff relatable. It might not seem like a very important thing, and it might seem super dumb, but it's hard to relate to them because it's not just some regular Joe. It's always these rich people that have the money to fund their campaign. You
Well,
can't really.
in a way,
Not-
they're saying that Trump was.
Trump is in debt, by the way.
Yeah.
Massive
saying-
debt.
They're saying, though, however, that Trump was able to. I mean, yes, he did get. He came from a rich family and he was able to
Oh
build
yeah.
up very
Did
quick.
you
but
guys watch
he's a-
Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
No.
he is so
Don't
good.
make Donald Trump again. Oh my god, that hashtag. Oh, I died, fellow. Oh my god. Donald Trump, the name Trump isn't like, it didn't start off as Trump. It started off as Trump. Trumph. And
Trump.
And then his great grandfather, whatever, and they changed it to Trump, so it'll sound more sort of like a, it sounds better for like a big, I don't know, corporation.
Well, when something trumps, it means something messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
No, that word came, like they made it Trump from Trump, and
Nice.
John Oliver like sort of made the entire hashtag. He made hats for it, and it sort of went all over Twitter. If you like the day the episode aired, if you went on Twitter, set your region to US, look at trending hashtags. Make Donald Trump again was number one for a solid day or two.
Oh man.
That was, oh my god, all the tweets I saw, I'm like, yes.
See, the
That's
thing
even
is,
even better than the "Make General Great Again" hashtag.
in terms
General
of
the-
voting, my friend thinks that you should be forced to vote, or else there should be some legal punishment because
Oh,
in
That's
his
retarded.
eyes,
Yeah.
you're not
and-
voting for who you want or who you think is good. You're voting for who is least bad, and I think that's a
Yeah.
very, very bad way of looking at it.
that
Because
is.
if you think about it, it's there. If there's no one that you want, there's no one smart, or just everyone's stupid. No one gets what anyone wants or whatever. No one gets what the general public wants. Then there's no point in voting because there's no reason to. You're not going to have anyone
Right,
that can
okay.
make a difference, and you're not going to have anyone that can do what the public wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see that, okay, how about this for you, Lightning? You get Kim Jong Il, you get you get Kim Jong Il, you get Judas.
You're stepping into.
Kim Jong Il, you get Judas, or you get Satan. Who do you want? Like
Yeah,
I get what you
don't
mean.
want any of them.
I get what you mean. No, I get what you mean. And I find it funny because I wonder if nobody in America voted at all, we'd still have a president.
We would.
We would.
We would.
Because the electoral college are the people actually voting for the next president.
Exactly.
Our votes just supposedly influence their votes. So it's kind of, what is going on?
Anyway, Dawn, you said you had a story.
I had a
for
story.
us or
You
something.
need to move on from this topic, so I have a story. I'm scrolling through your channel. I saw your My Airsoft story, the video. I have a paintball story to share. This happened while I was in Malaysia. I was in Malaysia for a year doing mechanical engineering. This happened.
Okay,
then.
I like this.
This happened then. We went like a group of us, not like sort of. You have a community of like gamers and stuff, and we organized sort of a paintball evening or a day, pretty much. It took us a random area in the jungle, and then they sort of had a paintball arena set up and everything. And it was basically like a capture the flag type thing. There was a flag in the center, and two teams were in two corners, and they were sort of like cover type, sort of pyramid type sandbag things. You would hide around and shoot around. I was sitting behind one of these things, and there was another guy like directly in front of me, behind another sandbag thing. I poked my head around. I tried to shoot. He shot. As the bullet came over, I kind of like Matrix style dodging thing. It went past my face. I could see the bullet go past my face. I'm like, okay. And so as I poke my face back, as I poke my head back, I see him standing properly, like out of cover, standing properly, and he pops me perfectly in the face. I had the face mask on. My mask just got covered in paint immediately.
Right.
And as I sort of pretty much a headshot, and I sort of fell back. As I fell back, I had my gun aimed at him.
I just went on pulling the trigger, and I covered him from foot to head, a perfect line. It just paid for perfectly, just all the way up.
You know what? I really, really like that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We have to end this pretty soon because I have to go to work soon. But before we go, I want to hear one story from you guys. If you guys have one, if you don't want to share, that's fine. But I'd like to hear one story before we take off. So whoever, what do you if you got a story, love to hear it.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Well, I have one. It was back when I was a bad guy on a western that we shoot here on my hometown. The thing is, the director wanted everyone to speak English, and there were only two people that spoke English, me and a friend of mine from the U.S. So the rest of the crew didn't know how to speak English at all. So we had to train them ourselves, and in the end, we forgot to study our scripts. So it was crazy. It was very crazy, and trying to teach and act at the same time, and it's like it was so weird because it was like they were looking at us, and am I speaking correctly? You could see it in their eyes,
God.
and oh man, it was so crazy.
But that movie didn't turn out very well, huh?
No, because we had to do voiceovers, and the movie was so long, but so freaking long. It well, you don't need sleeping pills with that. You don't. If you can go through the first 30 minutes, then you deserve a medal.
Jeez.
and I speak horribly in the movie because I didn't get to rehearse or practice or decorate my lines and stuff like.
I want a link to this. I will be putting it in the description of this video.
Oh no.
It'll be a challenge. The person who watches it front to end and is able to do the most accurate typed rendition
There you go.
of the movie will be in the next podcast. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's the next challenge.
That's the next challenge.
No.
That's so cruel. All right, your turn, Lightning. Your turn.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything very good, but I must have something. I just
Being in high school, I'm sure that there's like.
I'm just a freshman, so it's not like I've done anything extremely stupid yet.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
But you will.
keyword yet.
I gotta say, for a freshman, you got a good head on your shoulders, so I commend that.
thank you.
As a freshman, I feel I was kind of stupid. A lot of people would disagree with me. I don't remember, but looking back to where I am now and where I was then, I feel like I was an idiot. So
Then they look at the channel and they're like, yeah, he is.
yeah, they
They look at his stories and like, yeah.
yeah, he's pretty much an idiot.
Jeez, go on, Lightning.
I feel like the stupidest thing I've ever done was do. So my friend used to have cinnamon at lunch every day,
Oh.
and I thought it would be a fucking wonderful idea. And they were like, "Hey, go get a spoon," and I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, I know where this is going.
Oh,
I know where
yep,
this is
okay.
And then they put cinnamon on the spoon, and they say, "Okay, now just eat the cinnamon." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then I do that, and then it's like, "Okay, whatever." That was fine. And then she has like this green paste stuff. I didn't know it was wasabi at the time, but it was
Oh,
part of it. And then she's like, "Okay, now eat this." And so I ate that, and I had to go run and get some water. It was awful. That's the stupidest thing.
Oh,
Because I didn't know
you
what
were
wasabi
fine with the
was
cinnamon.
like.
You were fine with the cinnamon, but not the wasabi.
Cinnamon
Wait,
is not
what
that
in the
bad.
world kind of
It
meal?
was, I think, the combined effort of the two, cinnamon and wasabi, is just like
What
the double whammy. Just like, no, you can't
was
take
she
that.
like? Was she cooking at school? Like, what in the world kind of meal calls for wasabi and
She
cinnamon?
had sushi,
Like,
and
what-
then she brings cinnamon for applesauce, and that's how that happened. And that was the stupidest thing I've ever done, next to like
Oh
some
my god.
Good.
other stupid thing that I may have done that I don't remember.
Lord.
But that was.
Well, it has been absolutely fantastic talking with you
That's-
guys, and I'm very, very glad.
This is
that
like
we
a
were able to do
2-hour long
this.
podcast.
Thanks.
No, it is, and I understand that. I don't know if there's much
For
editing that
like
I'll be
the
doing,
2.5
but
hour mark. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was
Well,
like
time
you
for-
can cut bits out. It'll come up like 2 hours, 10 minutes.
I wish I had a better story. I just can't think of anything.
no,
off the top of
that
my
was
head.
actually pretty good.
Wasabi,
All right, well,
though.
I want you guys to know, I want all three of you guys to know that because you've been on this podcast, that does not mean that there's not a chance that you could come back. Any one of you could come back by the same means that we've done before. And if I'm missing somebody, like if, I only have 2 people and I decide not to do a contest, I could just pick someone from random from my Steam friends list. So that does not mean that you'll. But if you guys out in the audience would like to be part of the podcast in the future, please be sure to check out Reddit, because I post challenges on Reddit. I think I'll do this at least once a month or once every other month, and you guys could win and potentially be on the show. And it was a lot of fun. If you guys didn't enjoy the podcast, that's okay, because at least us 4 will, and that's really all that matters. You guys were part of this, and I'm really, really happy how this turned out, and I'm glad that the first podcast, at least from right now, it went as well as it did. So thank you guys so much for being here, and if you guys want to say goodbye, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was a fun chat for like a solid 2.5 hours. It was a probably fun chat at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m. on a Thursday.
Well, I mean, that's what podcasts are supposed to be. If you guys, if you watch it, what I normally do with podcasts is I'll play a video game and listen to it at the same time. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and if you guys want to be in it, again, go ahead and check out my Reddit.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye, guys, and thank you so much.
and
yeah.
cut.
Cut.
And cut.
Right, to round off the recording of the audio.
Okay,
that.
I
There we
probably that oh my god, the cinnamon wasabi was the best I could pull.